Phone lines are even open. 928-344-5258. For those of you that are awake, and for the few that may even have their radio on. I'm up anyway, so I might as well come in. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm going to get up early in the morning, and regardless, and I enjoy the news. So here I am, even on a Christmas spent last night, going to church for the city, actually, uh, with Christmas, Christmas Eve presentation and blessings. The place was packed. We didn't get there at the 4 o'clock. They had a 4 o'clock, a 5:30, and I think a 7 o'clock. All of them. We got there at 5:30. It was a madhouse. I mean, it was just. I talked to the pastor, Pastor Tyrone, and he said, "I'm glad you're here at 5:30. 4 o'clock was packed. There were people standing, and I think they seat over 800. So it was great, and it was just a wonderful by Pastor Tyrone also. So it was a great evening, and we got out of there in one piece. And I think it was pretty full at the 5:30. It was. I think there were some seats left, but not a whole lot. Most of you are sleeping in, waiting on the kiddos and all that kind of stuff. I got grandkids. I don't think they're up yet, but they'll be up eventually, and I'll get over there. Some of the news, and I've been here for a while reading, but the Christmas travel is going to be affected by the threat of floods. Maybe they're not flooded yet, but threat of floods in California now. I know we've been having rain here in Yuma. In fact, the roads are wet now, so continue to be careful. And I got to tell you, I'm proud of some of our Yuma drivers. I don't think there's been a lot of auto accidents. I don't know, but I saw some very cautious driving within the last few days. So thank you. That's been great. But Los Angeles spent the day before Christmas under rain showers, even weird for them. Winds up to 40 miles an hour. New England is going to get more snow, and more than 40 million people are under flood alerts Wednesday morning. Most of it in California, southern Nevada, and even western Arizona. Not us. In fact, our chance of rain today remains single digits. Not going to be much. Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency. Now, see, Gavin Newsom should declare a state of emergency every day. California is it's falling deeper off the cliff every day. But for Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, and Shasta counties, for flood, it's going to activate emergency authorities, get resources, community safe, all that kind of stuff. A meteorologist, Courtney Carpenter, says we're expecting continued impacts into the weekend. The storm is an atmospheric river. As much as 1 to 1.5 inches of rains per hour is expected, increasing the risk for debris flows, mudslides, flash flooding over Palisades, and like they haven't had enough problems there. Of course, a lot of it's burned down, which means there's mudslides. Yeah, mudslides. Wind gusts, all that, up to 39, 69. Ventura saw 69 miles an hour. So if you're traveling to California, there's a lot of travel going on. Probably not this morning. You're probably already there, but they'll be traveling coming back. Anyway, be careful. In fact, speaking of travel, I read something really interesting this morning about something that could hold you up in traveling. On something that if there's an article of clothing, if you wear an article of clothing, could you get you into secondary and cause you delays? So I'm always interested in what they're looking for. Sparkles. Yeah, like those sweaters that have all that metal reflective stuff in it. TSA's asking, please don't wear that. Put it in your bags or something, but don't wear it to your destination. Never even thought of that. But all these, they get into those scanner machines, and I guess it's just all sparkly. So you're going to secondary. May have to take off some clothing. So don't wear your sparkly holiday sweater to the airport. Yeah, you don't need to shine. Just Just go normal. Don't wear it through security lines. Well, 3 million travelers expected to fly across America just during the holiday season. That's according to AAA. If you can believe them, probably they're okay. A frequently asked question on the TSA website. I didn't even know they took questions, but it makes sense. What can I do to prevent an alarm? And TA's response: remove all items from pockets to avoid a pat-down screening. Avoid wearing clothes, shoes, and jewelry with high metal content. That's hence the sparkles. Yeah, when I go to the airport, before I go to TSA, through it while I'm waiting, I'll have a small carry-on bag. I take everything metal and put it in my carry-on bag, my belt. If I have any metal on my phone, my earbuds, whatever, it all just goes right into the carry-on before I even get in line. So I don't have to stand there and undress. And now you don't have to take your shoes off even. So it seems to go faster. Passengers who are flagged for pat downs may wind up with agents inspecting their heads, necks, arms, torsos, legs, and feet. So if you're bored and alone this weekend, travel, go see TSA. They'll give you some attention. They're going to look also apply to head coverings while sensitive areas such as breasts, groin, and buttocks. Wow, all on a Christmas weekend. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
Listen, I just got some strange news this morning. I just happened to be catching a little news early. Yesterday was the last day that ConocoPhillips, 66, is going to be in business in California.
Yep.
They've shut them. Yep, they're shutting them down.
I thought it was going to be the 31st, but today's as good a day as any. Let's go.
That's what they said. They said California is just, everything they've done is just telling we can't do business in your state anymore.
Unfortunately, Andy, that's going to probably affect us because those refineries supply us also. They supply parts of Arizona.
I think it all comes from Texas for us. We get some stuff out of El Centro, but
I thought it was all.
Most of the stuff I see is coming from the east of us.
Okay, well, reports I read said western Arizona, but I don't know where that. What
That's
parts?
Probably northern part of Arizona, but it's just pretty sad what they've done. It costs 54 cents a gallon in California if you don't meet their carbon tax.
What? Right, they've been billing them for carbon.
Yeah,
and carbon tax. They've been billing them tons of money, and these guys have just said enough. I'm out, I'm gone.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, they said last year they only made $11 billion, total in the company. And I'm going, okay. But they've got, they're Conoco and Phillips 66. Now, we don't have either one of those in Yuma anymore. Years ago, we had it. But the main thing is they put them out of business because they refuse to bow to the governor.
Right.
And all the new regulations they put in. I mean, it's just a tough deal.
It's a whole get the rich to pay their fair share, they just started going after monies that, where people made so much money, they thought, well, they won't notice. Well, those are the people that do notice. They count percentages.
Well, look at the people. Look at all the people that are losing their jobs over this. I mean, They were all given plenty of notice. But like I say, the one in Long Beach, that's already closed. They closed that yesterday. They're not making 1 gallon of anything. And then the one south of LA that supplies 14% of all the jet fuel.
Well, I thought it was even more because it's right there by the airport. And
it's just
they're 8% of the total refined products in the state of California. Was that one?
Yeah.
So
California's running everybody out. It's just going to cost California even more now when they have to pump it, pipe it, or truck it. I mean, California's they're out of hand, and this guy wants to be president.
Yeah, and actually, there's a lot of Democrats that put him in favor, like possibly he's the front runner. It's Kamala right now. It's Kamala Harris is the front runner.
well, is she still a front runner? Because I hear, I'm not sure what state this governor is from, but he's and there was, I was catching the news on it yesterday, and they said, but will we elect a Jewish president? But he seems to be well qualified.
Oh, Shapiro from Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Is he Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
And they say if he went up against Kamala right now, hands down, he'd put her in a trash can and run her down the street.
Well, he's not showing up that strong in the polls. He's single digits on the polls for the Democrat primary. You know what number 2 in the Democrat primary was? Anybody but.
Yeah.
I mean, that just shows how strong they are. Anybody but. Number 1 was Kamala at this point. Anybody but is number 2.
It shows they have no one to choose from.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got cackling Kamala, and then you got Greasy, whatever his name is in California.
Newsom. Yeah.
Greasy Newsom. Yeah.
You got Pritzker. You got Shapiro. You got Buttigieg. He shows up on the list. He grew a beard now too. He's trying to look more masculine. You know, like Waltz. Okay. Tim Waltz is wanting to look masculine. So.
Well, Tim Waltz, he's on his way out, isn't he? I mean, he showed his true colors. I mean, what they call it, stolen valor. I mean, everything.
Yeah, he seems to be perpetually not involved in telling the truth.
Habitual prevaricator, is that what you call it?
Something. Yeah. You know, even the Somali thing, he comes, oh, it's not that big and stuff like that. And then it's like, well, we have other thieves. It's not all just Somalians. And
yeah, but he was number 1 in charge.
Then he comes out and says, well, we have a problem. It's on my watch. Good news is I'm the guy that's going to fix it. Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, we trust you to fix it after you got to the mic over the last few weeks and lied about its, you know, how widespread. You lied about who did it. You lied about who was involved in it. And then you said, okay, it's here, but I'm going to fix it. I don't trust you.
There's a little light morning fog in the valley, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, roads are wet too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my thinking on that is they don't have a good candidate lined up because everybody, you know, I'd rather see Jesse Ventura run for president. You know,
well, maybe we get a current MMA star. You know.
Yeah, well, he used to be governor of former Navy SEAL, but he used to be governor of Minnesota.
Yeah,
you know, he did a pretty good job.
Sure.
They have no candidates.
No.
And that's the sad thing. They're showing their poor leadership all over the country.
Yeah, they I don't understand the great appeal for the Democrats, but I think there's so much Trump derangement syndrome. They're just looking for anybody with a pulse.
Okay, well, the next thing number 1, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody that listens to the show, and God bless you for sticking around this long. Number 2, what time is Mr. Machoni going to call in?
Oh, Mel will be on 7:45.
Okay, I'll make sure I'm back in the house so I can listen.
Yeah, him and Marcy already listened this morning. Good morning, Marcy. And Mel. We'll talk to Mel. We'll talk to Mel a little bit.
I love Mel. Mel's been a good friend for a long time. Anyways, well, God bless, and everybody have a Merry Christmas, and stay off the streets if you don't know how to drive when they're wet.
I was just out on the streets. There's nobody out there, man.
Well, I mean, you could have. I had to go up to the gas station and get a cup of coffee this morning.
Yeah, they are open, by the way. The Circle K.
Yeah, but the Circle K was open. I mean, they were happy to see me because there was nobody there.
Well, I went into one, but he wasn't happy to see me necessarily. He was stalking or something, you know, trying to stay awake, straightening shelves.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this one lady that works down there. If I get coffee early in the morning, you know, about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
She sees me. She smiles. She says, "Oh, how you doing today?" I says, "Well, made it another day. Let's keep trying." She's really nice, but it's today's a good day of remembering, you know, why we're here and why we're the Christians that we are. So
absolutely, and Mel's going to help us with that. He's going to read, you know, the manger story, right? Read biblical stories this morning, 7:45, as he's done for us for many, many years. He's come on.
All right.
Now he does it over the phone.
15 years, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And you've been on the show probably 25.
Well, when you were still doing Copa High School, when I first came into the show, you know, I'll blame it all on Flash.
Oh, Flash Schrar with the Patriots, Yuma Patriots? Yeah.
Because that's the first thing I did. I was the only one that wasn't working then.
Right.
And after we spent the night out on the river, and Flash said, "Go talk to Russ and tell him what we did." And that's how it all started with us.
Yeah.
But it actually started. I knew you before that because you and my son were doing Copa football games in Yuma Catholic, and then one day he says, Russ wants me to fly up to Phoenix with him for a radio show for, football game. And I'm saying,
Right.
So I called Martha Taylor and says, okay, who is this guy? She said, how many hours has he got? Well, I didn't want to put any.
No, you were
anything.
very, very careful before he even went in the booth with me. You came out and talked to me before he came on. He was a kid who wanted to get involved and wanted to spend some time on the mic, do some sports. I said, well, come on up.
Good Christian kid. Well, you were working with Bill Barinholtz back then.
Bill. Yeah,
Bill wasn't doing nothing but sitting up there playing with his phone.
Well, he really wanted to do sports commentary and that stuff. So that was his first exposure to it. I think he lasted this one season maybe with that.
But
good guy. But
I was just going to tell you, I did talk to my son yesterday, Drew. He just got back from Taiwan.
Okay.
And he didn't even tell me that they were transferring him over there for his month-long tour of duty with the company that builds computers or computer chips. But he's back in Scottsdale now, and he said the new plant is going well. So
what new plant in Phoenix? You mean?
The one in North Phoenix up there for the computer chip manufacturing plant.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information. Just pause for a second, but there's a lot of information on that on YouTube. There's some YouTube's videos that have gone through the plant with people explaining what's going on, what their futures are, what they're doing right now. So it's interesting if you want to go see that video.
He's in the assembly. He's in the assembly line and maintenance on the assemblies.
Okay.
So it's like building a ship. When they start building a ship, they get so far, then they transfer you from whatever job you're on in the Navy to that ship, so you understand every working part of it. So if it ever breaks, you can fix it. Well, that's basically what he is. He's a computer repairman. He fixes the machines that make the parts.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of work there to be had. That I forget what is that, like an $80 billion investment it's going to be by the time it's all done?
I don't know. And he can't tell me a lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like when he was on board the submarine, he couldn't tell me where he's at. Just like your son gives you dirty looks.
Yeah, I know. My son doesn't talk to me about Air Force, but a lot of that's on the videos when they talk about their investments. But I know one of the buildings they're working on now, because it's not complete. It's like a $25 billion building alone, just the one they're working on now.
Yeah, and where are they getting the water? That's the big question.
They're
pumping it out of the ground.
They are pumping it out of the ground, and they do recycle it.
Yeah, quite a bit of it.
Yeah, so water's precious. They're not dumping it. It takes a lot of water, apparently.
Yeah, well, you got all this equipment you got to keep cool, and they use what they call on the building. My son's telling me it's a chilled water system, to where the compressor, the main compressors do is run chill antifreeze through the water, so the water doesn't freeze. But then they keep the place at about 60 degrees inside to keep the equipment cool.
Yeah, amazing process. And the foundations have to be so stable. I mean, they're drilling down. There's more steel underground, probably.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing would be able to float. Basically, is what they're telling you. You could drop a bomb, 100 yards from the building, and the building ain't going to move.
Well, that's what they need. Apparently, they can't take vibrations. They can't take any subtle movements. Nothing. So.
Well, when you're working on building these things, where one single what I would call a wire is 1,000 times smaller than the human hair.
Well, yeah, they look at it in molecules. They look at the molecules.
You can't fudge that stuff.
I know.
I just get a bigger hammer.
Yeah. No, I've seen that they've taken some of these chips on that special and cut them and put them under electron microscopes, and they're counting how many atoms are between the wires.
Yeah.
How many atoms?
Well, that reminds me of a story from back in the 70s when the Americans guys they sent a little copper wire to Japan that was you had to look at it with a magnifying glass to see how small it was.
Yeah.
And they sent it back in a box and said, "Ha, look at it closer." They drilled holes in it.
Oh.
And sent and sent this little piece of wire back because they were starting at that time, doing micro stuff.
Well, now
So
they
we learned.
can't see the work now with a microscope. It takes electron. They have to look at the atom.
Electron microscope is the only way you can see it. But,
right.
But always remember, it's only as good as the guy that programmed it.
Oh, correct. But when they got that kind of investment, they're getting the right guys, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Listen, I got to go, buddy.
Take care, man.
Merry Christmas to you, Ma.
All right. Bye, Andy. That was Mr. Andy. Been around for a while. Christmas Eve jazz concert was canceled at the Kennedy Center. Chuck Reed, he's one of the musicians there for the jazz. He's the lead. He's led the jazz jams at the Kennedy Center since 2006. He called it off personally, called it off after Trump's name was added to the facility. He said, when I saw the name change on the Kennedy Center website and then hours later on the building, I chose to cancel our concert. So they had to put it out on the website and everything was all canceled, Joe. That's how deep this Trump derangement syndrome goes. If Trump's name's on it, I'm not going to participate. And I think, within that industry, if you do participate, you're going to get hate mail and threats and stuff. But now the Kennedy Center, who voted it unanimously, now to put Trump's name on it, it's called the Trump-Kennedy Center. Lots of backlash from members of the Kennedy family and from people on the left. They've criticized the decision, calling it beyond comprehension. Last week, workers added Trump's name to the outside of the center, and the website's header was changed to the Trump-Kennedy Center. One of the nieces, Carrie Kennedy, vowed to remove Trump's name from the building after he leaves office. After he leaves office, that's a possibility. President Lyndon Johnson signed the bill in 1964 that designated the center as a living memorial to Kennedy following his assassination in 1963. The law prohibits the Board of Trustees from making the center into a memorial to anyone else or from putting another person's name on the building's exterior. Well, it's not a memorial to Trump because they missed him a couple times in the assassination attempts. As far as another person's name, he is another person's name. So if the law prohibits it, how's he allowed to do it? And before you say he's outside the law and all that, I mean, if he does do something outside the law, I would think there would be, some lawsuit of some kind saying, bringing his attention to it. But I have no idea. There may be. But since Trump returned to office January 20, several offices have canceled performances at the Kennedy Center, which including Hamilton. Hamilton was canceled. Reed now is canceled. Dizzy Gillespie, they were canceled. So some people's canceled. I think overall, it's probably been an improvement to this Kennedy Center. The Kennedy Center was doing some real wacko stuff, some very woke stuff. And Trump apparently loves the arts, loves theater. Is pretty theatric himself, and wanted to bring in some acts and stuff and upgrade it a little bit, which he's did. And he fired all the board members and hired ones that like him, and he got voted in as the leader, the chairman. He's the chairman, and then put his name on it. It kind of sounds like Trump. Let me take a break, and we'll be right back. It's 6:30 a.m. It's time for the kids to be up. AM 560.
Here's a look at your Christmas forecast. 78 and sunny today, 5 to 10 mile per hour southeast winds. Few clouds tonight, 52 the low. Friday, cloudy and 71, cloudy and 56 on Friday night. Partly cloudy and 69 on Saturday.
I'm Sean Gardner. I am an estate planning attorney. I help people get their affairs in order by organizing their finances and setting up plans that allow them to be managed in the event of incapacity and death with the least amount of government intervention. I'm not a huge fan of the government. In fact, I think the government is only there to ensure that my rights aren't infringed upon. Yet I'm more and more convinced that the government is the one doing the infringing these days. And so I like to help other people avoid government interference in their personal affairs.
The Desert Lily Annual annual quilt show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilt celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and a fat quarter basket drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Merry Christmas to everybody. I know most of you are home sleeping and don't hear me, so I'm not going to talk bad about you, though. Those that are up, though, and I know because I see them on, they made a comment on social media. So Mel Malshoni is up, as well as Marcy with him, I'm sure. Heidi Still, who checks in quite a bit. Good morning, Heidi. Dennis Hawks, a relative actually, lives here in Yuma. Let me see on John Horvath is up, which is nice. And listening. Good morning, all. And a lot of you probably are listening that I don't see the names pop up, but those are somebody that might have made a comment. Trump administration is going to start seizing pay of defaulted student loans. A couple comments on that. I know my fact checker Edward, who I know is listening this morning, is states that politically it could be terrible for him in that politically it may be he may cause Democrats to be more popular amongst those that have defaulted on their loans. I would imagine he's right. I don't know how deep that goes. I don't know if that means there's going to be seats lost because of it. I don't know. But he does pay attention to those things. But he's going to start garnishing wages of student loan borrowers that are in default in early January. And that's according to the Department of Education, a spokesperson of the Department of Education. More than 5 million student loan borrowers are currently in default. That's a big chunk of people. 5 million. That's not how many have loans. I'll get to all that. But let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Wow. Now, that's actually a good rendition. You guys do karaoke, of course.
We have fun. Yes, that's how we met 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We're doing good. Anyway, we just, no humbug from me today. No, none of that today. It's Merry Christmas and God bless you. God bless America. God bless each of us here in the America and the world, Russ.
Wow. You are in a good mood today. I'm glad to see it, Gilbert.
Well, that's because I don't have to go work. I mean, I wasted my time yesterday on the phone with you.
Yeah.
So Carter says, I can't make up for it today. So, okay. Hang out.
Carla's a good lady. You're lucky to have her, man. You guys are lucky to have each other. That's great.
Oh, yeah. We're pretty cool. And our dogs.
And the dogs.
And our doggers. Yeah. Maggie and Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I just want to say Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a fruitful New Year.
Yeah. Well, same to you, too. Thank you, man.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye. It's Gilbert and Carla this morning. On the positive, which is good. 5 million student loaners are currently in default. Probably going to be 10 million borrowers very soon because some are getting very close. And that is so terrible. And I blame Obama for it. He changed things. When he was president, he took a student loan program that existed. It was in existence. You had to go through a bank. The federal authorities, they guaranteed the loans, but the loans were still administered locally by banks. And they made sure the loans were, good loans, and they sit down and talk to you for a minute and check you out. And you could only get loans for for things that were college oriented, like admission, tuition and books, those kind of things. You really couldn't borrow money for cars and for rent, buying a house, all that stuff. But now you get money for living. So, you may look at an expensive school and says, well, that school's going to cost me $15,000-$20,000 a year in tuition and books, plus another $20,000 to live. So they give you $40,000, and you throw a beer bash. Unfortunately, that has happened. There's been people get lots of loans, dropouts, never get an education. They had a good time, and they got huge debt. Now they're going to get garnished. And I know the student loan outstanding debt continues to just skyrocket. Colleges are very helpful, and counselors getting you to sign up for student loans. Don't worry about it. We can get you the money. And at that age, you're not thinking about you'll have to pay it back someday. You're just thinking about how much money's flown in. And of course, colleges, universities raised their rates hugely since the student loan program got so lucrative. The prices didn't go down. They went up faster than inflation. So it's a perfect storm. So with 1.6 trillion in outstanding debt, 42 million Americans hold student loans. Because I just think the system's wrong. I don't think there's any education that goes along with getting that loan. It's all happy days. Sign your name, get a lot of money. Credit card companies been doing it too. They just get in there, and everybody with goes registered to college gets an application anyway. And most of them get a credit card. They go upside down, don't realize, well, that's right, we got to pay that thing. So I think we're doing a disservice to all these kids. Somebody needs to go in and be damn Ramsey on them. Dan Ramsey, tell him about saving money and getting through this with as small a debt as possible. The debt's okay, just these kids are going overboard, and then it affects their lives. It's big. And of course, the Democrats say, that's no problem. We'll just give it all away. Just taxpayers got so much money. We'll just borrow it. I mean, we borrowed it. So let's just charge the taxpayers to pay the bill for that failed education. I say fail because a lot of it is from those who never received any kind of degree, but had a good time. Well, they're going to start garnishing the wages. The Education Department expects around 1,000 default student loans borrowers to receive notices of administration wage garnishments. That's to start with. After that, the number will continue to increase. Of course, you start off with 1,000. You got 5 million right now, 10 million soon. It's got to increase if you're serious about collecting it and all that. And the garnishment means that the Education Department can seize up to 15% of a student loan's after-tax income to put towards the debt. Borrowers must be left with at least 30 times the federal minimum hourly wage, which is $7.25 or $217.50, I guess, a week. They got to be left with 30. Wow. Well, they're expecting them to make a lot of money. There are some contacts you can make with loan borrowers, and I don't know they have. In fact, this garnishment stuff is not new. That was normal processing. Normal processing on anything is if you don't pay it, you're going to get, the bill collectors will contact you, wages will be garnished, and all those kind of things. I mean, that's just normal business. But during COVID, when Biden was in, I think it was put on pause. It's been on pause ever since, as far as garnishment and stuff like that. So these bills have continued to climb. They didn't go away. They paused. The payment has. Interest continues to pile up, and you can't get away from it. You can't declare bankruptcy. You can't get away with it. Money that you owe to the government is with you. It does not go away. And I know that politically, particularly the Democrats try to give you that money and say, don't worry about it. We'll just write off that $1.6 trillion and in order to garnish loans, I guess. I think the whole student loan program needs to be redone myself. I mean, we need to handle the debt, but we also need to handle this loan. I mean, people need to get warnings. warnings about what's going on, and maybe some stories about some of these people that have had, their lives changed drastically because of the amount of debt that's hanging over them and what it's done to them. They should all have that before they sign up for a loan and decide to borrow more money than they need. Like I say, I think borrowing's fine, and for an education, it's fine. Keep it to what you need. Well, the U.S. government can seize federal tax refunds, wages, Social Security, retirement, disability benefits. Yep, they can take it. And there's not a lot of due process other than, yeah, you owe it, we're taking it. I mean, that's due process. Takes a day. And then, a couple of clerks will look at it and say, yeah, they're getting a refund. We'll take that. Yeah, they got a lot of power on that. So nothing you want to tangle with. So be careful of the student loans. I think they're a great thing. If you have desires, and I took a student loan out. I think it was $2,000 total. Kind of a project of mine to do. I could have done it without it. I went to a state school. I worked and I paid as I went. Much like if somebody went to AWC or something. Mine was a 4-year college, but it was a local 4-year college, and I was able to earn enough money to make tuition and everything at the same time I was going to school. And I think that in itself is an education. It is an education to do that, to be responsible and to pay your bills and to get all that things. And yes, that meant that I didn't go to as many beer parties. I didn't do it. I didn't. I studied. I worked hard. And when I wasn't in school and I wasn't working, I caught up on sleep. I did. I don't know. There's some parents and kids that think, well, no, college should be fun, enjoy yourself, and do all that. That's okay. Wasn't what I wanted, and it's not what my son got for sure. He went to Air Force Academy. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of free time. You were Air Force Academy 24/7, so you were cadet 24/7. So he didn't have a lot of distractions. Since it is Christmas, I want to talk a little bit about something that's going on in Asheville, North Carolina, and it happens all over the country, but an article about it in Asheville, and this is the Asheville Buncombe Community Christian Ministry that's put together a nativity program, which I think it was pretty extensive, it looks like. They took a church gymnasium and changed it to a Bethlehem marketplace. The whole gymnasium. They took the whole gymnasium. Sight, sound, smells, and they made it look like ancient Bethlehem. There's an executive director, Scott Rogers, that did it. And he said it's a gift to the community that gives so much year round. Return to Bethlehem is ABCCM. That's the Asheville Buncombe Community Christian Ministry. Gift back to the community. It's telling the most meaningful story ever told, not just at Christmas, but around the world. And it's our way of saying thank you to a community that supports our neighbors with their time, food, clothing, and financial gifts. Methodist Church provides space, but it takes 30 churches. So they got 30 churches involved in getting this production together. And it takes a lot of volunteers, as well as cast members. They got 50 cast members. And they fill speaking and acting roles supported by another 20 volunteers behind the scenes. So with 6 performance shifts, so I guess it's a continuation of it, the production relies on 70 volunteers per show. It takes a community to put it together, according to Rogers. Visitors don't simply watch the story unfold. They walk through it. The whole experience begins with a Roman soldier and census taker echoing scripture. Many recognize instantly. Everyone must register for the census. Explain the census taker as you step inside the experience. Marketplace filled with familiar voices, a carpenter, a prophet, a shepherd, each offering pieces of the story that scripture describes as being treasured in the heart. Actually, and before I finish that, let me take a phone call real quick. You're on the air.
Well, hey, good morning, Russ.
Good morning, Carl.
I guess in my 2 cents today, I'm just going to have to say Merry Christmas to one of my good friends. That would be Russ Clark.
All right. Good morning.
So it is another nice morning out.
It is.
And what's good?
It's a little
Go
wet
ahead.
though, man. Be careful before you shut down. Wipe that seat off outside.
Well, you know what I did? I got a shade over that.
Okay.
Over my, and what I did is I went and got a camouflage shade so I don't see it.
Good.
But I'm all, it's nice and dry. I got my American flag lit up. And so, but we need a Merry Christmas, and then we need a Happy Mega. You know, we got another election coming up pretty quick, less than a year.
We do, and everyone's been working to get ready. Democrats too. You know, they see this as an opportunity to sidetrack the MAGA and to stop the progress being made, the progress in helping inflation and everything else. Yeah.
But here's my problem. To me, what MEGA says is make America great again for the people that live in the United States that are legally here. Now, I don't understand why people are mad at MEGA, because what they want to do is they want to support people bringing drugs into our country.
Well,
Look what Wisconsin did, man. The Somalis, look how much trouble we have with them, and hell, we're paying them to come over here and mess with us.
no, that's Minneapolis.
They're getting a check from the
That's Minnesota. But yeah, I've heard commentary at $9 billion. I don't know if that's a true number, but that's a number being thrown around now. It's crazy.
Well, it is. You know, if that was going on in Yuma, I mean, somebody would be down and talking to our good Mayor Nichols.
Well,
saying, hey,
I don't think I don't think Mayor
What's that?
Nichols could write a check for $9 billion.
Well, I understand that, but I don't think he would either. So
No.
So here's my problem. How do people living in that state put up with that stuff?
Because they don't know what's going on. They don't know. They're told a bunch of lies by people like Tim Waltz that are sidestepping this thing. And now that we're knowing more of the story, there were people with screaming about it. Like, look, this is irregular. We just quadrupled the amount of people on this certain type of giveaway. And they don't look at it. They don't do anything. And they kept doing it like they were happy it was happening.
Well, they were.
Yeah.
They got them votes.
And see, the state administered it, but it's the federal government that wrote the checks. Yeah, so we'll see where that all goes.
Well, it's not going to be good.
No, I don't think the federal government's going to want their money back. I think, and we'll see how that goes, because they misappropriated it, and it was part of the culture. From what I'm listening to, it's part of the culture. They were happy that things were doubling and quadrupling, and now we have 10 times as many autism patients than we did 5 years ago. And nobody looked at that and said, well, that doesn't make sense. We need to raise a flag and take a look at it. Nobody did.
It brought a lot of money into the state, didn't it? Billions.
Well, it did. And apparently it really centered around that Somalia community. Like 90% of the people arrested have been Somalian.
Wow.
Yeah, and they only represent 1.5% of the population.
Yeah. What the problem is, I just saying, well, here we have a state of the United States stealing money from the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is.
And I really don't think President Trump is going to let him get away with it.
Well, he'll do his best. You know, he'll do what's within the confines of the law and that, but he certainly can cut it off so it doesn't happen anymore. Certainly going to ask for more explanation. And now there's bills in Congress that are going to require Health and Human Services that any program that raises 10% in 6 months gets an audit. If you have 10% more money going out in a program in 6 months, you get audited. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It could be audited and you realize it. Yep, it's legit.
Yep.
But at least we'll be aware. We won't get surprised when we all of a sudden realize we have 42 million people on food stamps, and people going, "What? How could there be that many?"
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, right? It's like that game of Monopoly and the bankers cheating.
Somebody's cheating.
Somebody, well, the bankers, the people that have the money, are the ones that are cheating, and they're giving it to people they ain't supposed to.
And then we got states that refuse to give information to the federal government that's paying the bills. You run these programs that the federal government reimburses, and they want to know a list of those that are not legally in the country, and the states are not giving them the information. Well, they're going to get cut off from payment.
Well, they should have already been shut off, shouldn't they?
Yeah, there's a process going on. I don't know how long it takes.
Well, when you got a credit card and you maxed it out, they're going to turn it off. Not going to let you use it anymore.
But when they asked Obama about giving money to illegals as they crossed the border, which we knew was happening, checks of $4,000 and $5,000, whatever it was, wherever it got to, he said, "No, we're not doing that." Well, that's because it was NGOs doing it for the federal government, but the federal government paid the bills, and they did bids on that jobs of giving the money away, and people locally would get the bids, and they said, "No, we're not giving money to illegals," because they know it's illegal. They know it. Everybody knows it. It's illegal. So they did all these go-arounds to try to hide the fact that we were giving money away to anybody that would break into our country and giving them great incentives. And Trump has been cutting that off now, because legally you can't collect Medicaid when you're not a resident. That comes out of taxpayers' money for citizens. We can't give it away to non-citizens. Well,
what the politicians were doing, in my opinion, are the NGOs. They were keeping 70-80% of the money for overhead.
I doubt that's money, but and then every NGO is going to be different. But I can guarantee you the administrative costs were substantial in all of them.
Yes,
and a lot of that money, unfortunately, was used as you can't really say profits because they're a nonprofit, but they're extra money, so they give it away. They don't give it away. They donate it to the funds they like Democrat running for office. So it goes back into the politics.
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes into making Michelle Pena just horrible. That's what they did to her, and that money we're talking about.
Yeah.
They put it in advertising, trying to beat Michelle Pena.
Yeah.
And so now they got to take that money and just put more people to run against Michelle Pena, trying to get her out.
Well, they can do that. They can. And they do. There's a lot of nonprofits out there called Support the Vote or whatever. So what they do is they go out to Fry's parking lot and have you sign up and register and all that for certain parties. It's very partisan. It's not a nonpartisan thing.
No.
Should be stopped. And I know there's people now working to do that.
Well, we have to get it done. When we start losing our election, we're done.
Yeah.
So, yesterday, just change the subject, but you was talking about money and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't realize that Mexico just got up one day and said, "Well, buddy, that money you got in your pocket ain't good no more. You come get some more." I've got some of that money in my drawers.
Well, I don't understand what you're saying. Mexico was giving away money?
Oh, no, Mexico. One day they just said their peso wasn't any good anymore.
Oh,
now, here's the new one.
Yeah.
They did it overnight.
Yeah, their peso crashed.
Yeah, it just crashed. So I guess I'm old enough to see that, but it's amazing. And so all that peso money you had was no good.
Yeah, you had certain time to turn it in or something. I don't know, but that's happened to a lot of countries, a lot of currencies. That's why the United States currency is so internationally traded. We've never gone through that.
Yeah, well, it'd be scary one day your dollar bill or your $100 bill isn't good anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And any bill you have or dollar bill you have in your pocket, it's worth what it says on the face value, or maybe it's worth a hell of a lot more because it's rare.
Well, we can go back to In God We Trust.
The rest of them pay cash. Anyway, Russ,
thank you, sir.
You have a Merry Christmas, and I'm looking forward to the next year because it's going to be awesome.
I think so, man. I think things are changing, but it's not without pain. So
that's true.
Next year's gonna be a lot more pain. We're gonna need you to get through it.
Yeah. Well, we just got to remember we got to make America great again.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. That was Mr. Carl. We'll be right back.
Well, it's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. Not so much fun. Say goodbye to bad internet. Say hello to local support from a company that believes in better. Say goodbye to the spinning wheel of doom and the regular equipment rebooting. And say hello to a hassle-free experience. Say goodbye to the internet struggles of yesterday and say hello to a provider that picks our community and provides a product and service that's locally rooted right here in our hometown. Find out more at allofiber.com. That's allofiber.com.
Hey, you want to give the gift they'll actually use this holiday? Peace of mind? Give the people in your life something that will protect them. Go to byrna.com today. They are the world leader in less lethal personal defense. It's compact, it's concealable, it's powerful. The newest burner, compact, fits in a pocket, a purse, while delivering real stopping power for up to 60 feet away. I carry one every day. I recommend every family have a burner, every person have one. Now, it fires potent, kinetic, and aerosol rounds that can stop any attacker in their tracks for up to 40 minutes. It's legal in all 50 states. You don't need a background check. It ships right to your door. Burner gives both the gift giver and the recipient peace of mind, not just for the holidays, but all year round and for many years to come. Protect your loved ones. Safety is priceless. Visit byrna.com today and find the right launcher for you and your family. That's byrna.com.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Thursday morning, Christmas morning. It's 6:57, so I just got a couple minutes to the top of the hour news. I want to finish up on this Asheville, North Carolina, where they brought Bethlehem into a gymnasium. And Rogers, who was in charge of the whole thing, he was the executive director. He said the story has been meticulously gone through so that we're very true to the scriptures. Actors portray moments of fear, hope, prophecy, and promise, from whispered concerns about staying warm through the night to powerful declarations foretelling the coming Messiah. The shepherds share their awe of a heavenly light and an angel's invitation, ending with a simple question posed to every visitor. Do you want to see the child? It knits together a holistic story, helping all of us walk our own journey to Bethlehem. It's the experience culminates in a quiet, powerful nativity scene, the birth of Jesus, described as the ultimate expression of love. Now, I was wondering how many people saw it. It was 1,500 people who attended the event. That's it, 1,500 right there in Nashville. I go through that. But it's about a community and inviting new folks to experience it for the first time. For many, that first step into the marketplace becomes a moment they carry with them long after Christmas lights fade, a reminder of why the season matters. And I know we've had some in Yuma where there's some scenes and stuff like that. I don't know if they have a full production like that. I've not attended one, but I think if I was in Nashville, I would have gone over there. I would have seen that. I did not win the jackpot for the Powerball because I forgot to buy a ticket again. Maybe if I bought a ticket, I would have a better chance of winning some point. But somebody did win in Arkansas yesterday. It was a Christmas Eve winning. It was $1.817 billion cash value, because that's if you get the money over 30 years, I think it's 1.8 billion. If you just want cash, you just take the cash right now, it's 834 million in cash. That's the cash buyout. Second highest ever in the history of the Powerball. Congratulations to the newest Powerball jackpot winner. This is truly an extraordinary, life-changing prize. You think? Matt Straw, he's the one that said that. He's a Powerball production chair now. It is life-changing, sometimes not for good. There's been people that have won money like this that just drive them nuts, and they don't know what to do with it. Ends up changing their life for the worse. I'll be back. It is 7 o'clock on a Christmas morning. We'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
America great again. This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
celebrations. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Pope Leo XIV celebrating the first Christmas Day Mass since 1994 in St. Peter's Basilica.
Dio Onnipotente abbia misericordia di noi, perdoni i nostri peccati, ci conduca alla vita eterna. Amen.
The pontiff lamenting the living conditions Palestinians in Gaza were experiencing during the sermon. He called for Christians to help the poor and strangers during his Christmas Eve service. The Justice Department working to release the rest of the Epstein files after the congressionally mandated deadline passed. We get more from Fox's Alexandria Hoffman, D.C.
The Justice Department vows that it has lawyers working around the clock to review and make the legally required redactions on over 1 million additional documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. Therefore, complying with the law to make records public may take a few more weeks. On X, Senator Chuck Schumer uses an expletive to make his frustration known, adding in an accusatory second post, a Christmas Eve news dump of 1 million more files only proves what we already know. Trump is engaged in a massive cover-up. A bipartisan group of senators now demands to know why, urging the Justice Department's acting inspector general to launch a neutral assessment of its compliance with the statutory disclosure requirements.
And no Epstein associate besides Ghislaine Maxwell has been convicted of any wrongdoing. Nearly 40,000 documents have been released since December 19th. Republican Tennessee Congressman Thomas Massey alleging the Justice Department broke the law for not complying with a deadline. And a ticket in Arkansas matching all the winning numbers drawn on Christmas Eve for that big $1.8 billion Powerball jackpot. The odds of winning the jackpot when it resets, 1 in 292 million. The jackpot resets to Saturday. America's listening to Fox News.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry. Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry. Terry, Terry. Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states.
From the News 11's Information Desk, I'm Jelena Aguilera. The Crossroads mission of Yuma hosted the second day of their 3 days of Christmas. Day 2 looked a little different than Day 1, but the goal was the same, to make sure no one goes without a warm meal this holiday season. The meal was roast beef dinner, including roast beef, mashed potatoes, salad, bread, and many dessert options. Plus, to help us save lives this holiday season with blood donation. The 3rd annual Heroes Blood Drive is taking place from this Saturday through Monday, December 29th. It will be at the Yuma Palms Mall right by Five Below. All the blood collected goes to My Talent. This blood drive is so important because the holidays are a time when blood donations are low. But the need for blood is very high. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
Life moves fast, and sometimes your mind needs a moment to catch up. At Onvita Health, we're making mental health care easier to reach, because asking for help shouldn't feel like the hardest step. More psychiatrists, a new inpatient facility, intensive outpatient therapy, because when care is within reach, brighter days are just ahead. Here's to better tomorrows. Here's to life. Learn more at onvitahealth.org/behavioral health.
'Tis the season for cozy nights, holiday movies, and full houses. So make sure your internet can keep up. Allo Fiber brings you lightning-fast 100% fiber optic internet that doesn't slow down when everyone's home for the holidays. Check them out at allofiber.com.
a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America.
So get on that train.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's Christmas morning, 7:05. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. Expecting a call from Mel at 7:45, so you might wait around for that to read the original Christmas story. And something in the news, a black ops plane blew up the latest drug boat. And we've seen a lot of those, and that footage keeps getting released by the State Department, by the Army, the military, DOD. I'm not sure who releases it, but it does get out there. And this was no different. It was released, but the difference on this one was different. It was not a missile that took out the boat, as we've seen in some of the past. This was actually a black ops combat plane. It's a C-130. It's called an AC-130J Ghost Rider, and a lot of what's on board, what's on this AC-130 is classified. Hegseth wouldn't tell us, but they took the plane out to give it a try, and it destroyed a submersible. One of those boats that's underwater. It's not really a submarine, but the boat itself is mostly underwater. It just skims the surface underwater, so it can't be seen unless you're overhead and you can see it. They used it says in the article, it says highly advanced black operations plane to ventilate a drug boat. That's funny. Ventilate. It says more than 20 drug boats. Man, last I read, it was like 25, nearly 100 people that have been killed in that. And they're not giving up. I mean, that's what they do for a living. They're out there regardless of the risk, which is just insane. All the others have been taken out pretty much by drones that fire a missile on them. The A1, these kinds of things have been around since Vietnam, though, where they've had these cargo planes basically with weaponry on them, machine guns and stuff like that. This plane's reported to carry 30 millimeter cannons and 105 millimeter cannons, as well as different bombs and missile capabilities and all. And it's already, it must be fairly new because they say it's not been seen before. And they've had them in the past. They've been around. They've had this kind of platform in the past. No telling what's on this plane. I guess they're keeping that a little quiet, except for the 30 millimeter and 105 millimeter cannons. That's a big cannon on a plane. I don't know how much it vibrates after that thing shoots. That's going to be pretty big. Oh, some sad news. I found out about this yesterday. California farming tycoon. That's what the article says. He's a tycoon. Guy named Michael Abadi, 63-year-old, and one of the largest farmers. And this is in the Imperial Valley, but obviously Imperial Valley and Yuma Valley are going to be tied together quite a bit. Arrested for killing his wife, Carrie Ann Abadi. That happened at November 20th at about 9:20 at night, according to Navajo County Sheriff. Yeah, that's in Arizona. It's in Pine Top, Arizona. He had a house there. They did as a couple, but they were separated. They separated in 2023. They lived in El Centro. But the wife, Carrie, left in 2023, went to the Pine Top home and was living there. And then there were divorce filings. So it was an unfortunate situation. The LA Times reportedly showed that Carrie accused her husband of blocking her attempt to get full picture of their income and real estate holdings while he made changes to their finances without consulting with her attorney. She also claimed she was struggling on monthly spousal support that the court temporarily awarded her. And this Michael Abadi had one of the largest agricultural operations in Imperial Valley. And, he was on a lot of boards and water boards and stuff, but a well-respected, great guy, apparently, and he's being charged with this. He was taken into custody on Tuesday. Detectives provided testimony to the Navajo County grand jury, and that's after they got search warrants to take things off the residence, properties, vehicles, and camping trailers in El Centro, everything associated with the Abadi family. Then they got an arrest warrant and took him into custody, and he's booked into the Imperial County Jail. And the Navajo County Sheriff's Office said Michael was booked on charges of violating Arizona Revised Statute 13-1105 and first-degree murder, and he's awaiting extradition to Arizona. Sad deal. We hate to see those things. But he grew up in the business. And he had crops including onions, broccoli, cantaloupes, all the regular stuff, around here. They were married in 1992, had 3 children. So they're going to need a lot of prayers, that whole family and those kids. Losing a mother and a father in jail, that's unfortunate. Michael's 63. His wife was 59 when she was, I guess it was a single shot that killed her when she was in her residence. Horrible story. I'm sure it's going to rock our agricultural bit. Our agricultural communities, they pretty much know each other. Yeah, there's a lot of excellent players in our agricultural community. A lot of great folks that and they help one another. They're big business. It's all huge business. It's very big, but they kind of act like it's hometown stuff. They're friendly. They're not the investment tycoons that you're going to run into in Texas. So I didn't say Wall Street, right? I understand Texas now has many businesses have more agents now in Texas working for them than they do in New York. They're leaving Wall Street. They're not even waiting for Mandani to take the oath of office. It's been going on for a while, but it's escalated because of Mandani. And Texas has been, which is a surprise. I thought it was going to be Florida because I knew Florida built a Wall Street type business, that, and they do have it in Clearwater, Florida. They have a lot, and but Texas is getting the lion's share. We know that ICE agents has been out there working, and God bless those guys. Merry Christmas to all you ICE agents and what you do, as well as Border Patrol, our sheriff's office, our police departments. They're all working, by the way. I'm not working. I'm enjoying myself out in here, but these guys are working. They're working, and God bless you all, and thank you for what you do, and be careful out there. I think we just had another ICE agent killed. We in Delaware, didn't we? It was in Delaware. I'm not an ICE agent, but I think Border Patrol, Customs, or something. It was somebody with the Homeland Security. Well, ICE agents just recently opened fire on a van. Now, that's a big deal when ICE agents have to use firearms. I'm sure that's not what they're looking for, but that's what they're trained to do, I guess, if they're threatened and they feel it's a situation that requires it. And it was Christmas Eve. 2 people were injured in the deal. No one got killed. But Immigration and Customs Force agents opened fire on it in a van in Maryland on Christmas Eve because the driver tried to run them over, and that's pretty much against the law everywhere in the country. Can't run over ICE agents. And let me see, it's Arundel County Police Department spokesman Justin Mulcahy said that officers responded to the West Court in Glen Burnie at about 10:50 a.m. Wednesday for reports of a shooting. Yeah, it had to get the police involved. Police allege the driver attempted to run the agents over, prompting ICE to open fire on the vehicle. Of course, the vehicle went into a wooded area, got stopped right there. The vehicle didn't look good. One person in the van was struck by gunfire, transported to an area hospital where he was listed in stable condition. The Department of Homeland Security on X said that the agents identified the driver of the van as Tiago Alexander Sosa Martinez. He's an illegal from Portugal. And then there was a Solomon Antonio, and I can't even get the last names, I'll forget, from El Salvador. And he was the passenger. Well, the officers approached the van. I guess they knew the two were in there. And they told Martinez to turn off the engine. He refused, and he attempted to flee. He began to ram his vehicle into several ICE vehicles for driving the van at ICE agents. And I think that's a bad move. That's a move that's going to get you hurt very badly, if not killed. Fearing for their lives and public safety, the ICE officers defensively fired their service weapon, striking the vehicle. Martinez then wrecked his van in between two buildings, injuring the passenger. DHS spokesman says our brave officers are risking their lives every day to keep American communities safe by arresting and removing illegal aliens from our streets. Continued efforts to encourage illegal aliens and violent agitators to actively resist ICE. And I'm glad they throw that in there because we got a lot of sanctuary states, counties, cities, and politicians that are aggressively putting the message out there and examples of how to actively resist ICE. It's only going to lead to more violent incidences. The extreme rhetoric must stop. The county police department criminal investigation will review the shooting, while the FBI will investigate the alleged assault on federal agents, and ICE will conduct an internal investigation through its Office of Professional Responsibility. So it's going to get looked at from all ends. The police chief, Amal Awad, said the multiple investigations are standard procedures and incidences involving federal and local agencies, and emphasized that her department was not involved in the shooting. So since I read this, I wanted to look up and see. I really didn't know how many states are there that are under sanctuary city type regulations or legislation, where their state legislators and mayors or governors have decided that we're just going to not cooperate with any federal agencies, and we love our criminals to roam on the streets. We don't want them to be deported. There's 13 states. Arizona's not one of them. I think I think that Tucson or some area, some in that area, if it's not Tucson, voted to be sanctuary city, but in the state of Arizona, that's not legal. You can't do that, so it doesn't count. The 13 states are California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, Illinois, Minnesota, which has some problems, Nevada, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, and Baltimore County, Maryland, but not the whole state, just Baltimore County, Maryland. There's some other counties and cities, but most of them are in the 13 states already listed. Maryland is not listed as a state, but they are. But these are the states that openly defy federal authorities and don't want to work with them and do all they can to make the ICE job more difficult, to make sure that they hide illegal aliens. They say they're trying to protect them, which means we have 37 states that don't do that, but 13 that do. And some of those 13, I mean, all of them are having more problems than most, I would assume, because there's a lot more violence out on the street that way versus a peaceful handover of a criminal that's not in the country legally. That's a lot safer for everybody involved, including our ICE agents. I mean, they're going to go in there. According to Tom Homan, no matter what, they're going to go in there. It just makes it a lot more dangerous for everybody involved, including the criminal. And it also makes it more dangerous for that community because, anything can happen and somebody in the community could be involved. And if they go in to pick up this person out on the streets, pick them up, out at work or at their home or something like that, there may be other people around them that they didn't really have their sights on, that ICE didn't have their sights on. They're going to get wrapped up in it and probably get deported alongside. Of course, these sanctuary cities are convinced they're doing the right things and they want to protect illegals and they want to protect criminals, which is amazing because there's a lot of damage being done. Well, pray for our ICE agents and all the people that go out there and do those things every day that, they come home safe, because the amount of attacks on ICE agents have gone up huge numbers. They've just been outrageous. The amount of attacks and stuff on ICE agents is because you see it on the news all the time where these politicians are openly telling everyone to be defiant, don't cooperate. You don't have to answer the door and all those kind of things. And it's not always misinformation, but it's leading to aggressiveness. It's leading to problems. And of course, I've heard some of those critics that are involved in that nonsense will say, no, the ICE is causing the problems. If they just go away, there wouldn't be any. No, there'd just be criminals on the streets and more incentive for people to come here illegally and cause problems. And more angel parents. And what angel parents are? Those parents, I think, that have lost a loved one, a child, to some action done by an illegal alien, whether drunk driving or robberies, murders, rapes, whatever that has caused a death in somebody. And we don't need more angel parents. We definitely don't need that. That's something that the Border Patrol, Customs, ICE, all of Homeland Security are working hard to make sure we get that element off the streets. And that whole leftist attitude of it. So it's just people working hard in our communities or our neighbors that we love them. That's not the totality of the people that are here illegally. They're here illegally. They broke the laws to get here. And many of them continue to break in laws to this day. That's why in Minneapolis, you have Somalians where more than 80% are still uncovered in subsidies, collecting it illegally. I mean, they're already illegal. Why not just do some more illegal fraud and collect $9 billion, which is amazing if it's true. I don't know if it's that high. Those are just some of the reports. Some conservative reports around $1 billion to $1.5 billion, which really is a lot when you consider there's only about 80,000 Somalians. That's a good payday. That's happened over the last few years. It's not happened all at one sum, and it's not one program. It's multiple programs. It's multiple, entitlement programs that these guys have done just a great job of finding every weakness in them, and then the state of Minneapolis has covered it up. They just go with it. Yeah, whatever you say, we're going to take it, and federal government's going to pay the bill. That's you and me, unfortunately. Offshore wind projects. I heard this the other day. I think Ted called me and told me Trump just canceled a bunch of offshore wind projects. And of course, these are these huge machines with these big blades you see offside on Highway 8 out near the Fun Factory. Yeah, those are the blades. They're like 80 feet long, each blade. Of course, that's just them. There's some blades that are bigger, some are smaller, but they're generally very huge. These are massive things. And they create electricity. I'm not convinced that they create more electricity than what it costs to put the project together, but I haven't really studied that. But I do know that the amount of electricity is substantial, that they contribute to the grid is substantial in this country. More than photovoltaic, which surprised me when I looked it up. It's been a while, so but I'm going to type that bit. Do wind. I'm just typing it in here too. Oh, Oh, okay. I typed it in wrong. I'll get that later. But Trump suspended multiple large-scale offshore wind projects, which I'm curious as to why and what's going on with that. And they put down some explanation. And of course, there's some people that think it's a gift to fossil fuel industry. You're just trying to make them stronger by taking away competition. But the U.S. Department of Interior is the one that it was under them that did it. There's 5 leases currently under construction in the Atlantic coast. So Department of Interior said the project suspensions were tied to national security threats and identified by the Department of Defense and referenced in recently completed classified reports. So we're not going to get the details of what this, this fear is as far as, security. The primary duty of the United States government is to protect American people, according to Secretary Doug Burgum. Today's actions addresses emerging national security risk, including the rapid evolution of the relevant adversary technologies and the vulnerabilities created by large-scale offshore wind projects with proximity near our East Coast population centers. Trump administration will always prioritize the security of the American people. So it wasn't scheduled because they said that they don't work, they're inefficient, they're too expensive, they don't bring value. That wasn't the reason. The reason was security, national security, which I'm really curious. I mean, I would hope that they would come out with that. I know there's some classified reports put out by the Department of Defense that has given given the green light to this and said, this is what we need to do. But I think we should know more in the long run. I would hope so. I mean, these are big projects. These are huge things. So if they're already under construction, you're talking about personnel that's working, that's going to be laid off. You're talking about products, that have been already purchased. The blades and machines, and these are, probably billions of dollars of stuff on all these projects combined. The 5 project, one of them is Windward Wind. It's off of Massachusetts. Revolution Wind is off of Connecticut and Rhode Island. Coastal Virginia Offshore Wind, which I'm assuming is Virginia. It's off New York. As well, that one's known as Empire Wind and Sunrise Wind. Those are the 5. It's Vet Voice Foundation, a national nonprofit that mobilizes and encourages veterans to be present in the civic arena. It's one of the groups scrutinizing Trump's administration. So there's some pushback. They're scrutinizing. It's kind of weird that vets would get together to scrutinize wind energy. I would think there's enough going on with veteran hospitals and stuff for them to be involved in, but this is what they do. Saying the move is not only negatively impacts the United States' ability to add domestic energy, but it has broad national security implications by playing a vital role in strengthening the maritime industry. And the maritime industry, I thought, was opposed to some of these wind projects, that they negatively affect fishing or sailing lanes or something. But this one says it's negatively affecting the maritime. It says it's a political gift to fossil fuel donors that will raise electricity bills for U.S. households and increase our risk of blackouts. Jessica Goldbeck, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and CEO of Vet Voice Foundation, says, this isn't about national security. It's a political gift to fossil fuel donors that will raise electricity bills. Well, she just repeated that. That was her quote. And the real security threat is the grid that's vulnerable to blackouts and reliant on foreign energy. I agree with her on that. Our grid is horrible. It works. It works well, probably better than most in the world, but I say it's horribly vulnerable, as we see in California. Goldbeck added that developing America offshore wind helps protect our nation against blackouts, strengthens American energy independence, creates jobs across our maritime industry that benefit naval security and keep our workforce prepared for potential conflict. The Trump administration's actions to hinder the U.S. offshore wind industry have undoubtedly made our nation less safe. Now, keep in mind, these are veterans organizations. It is a veteran organization. And this Janice Goldbeck is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. And jumping real quickly, that says that it's made us less safe, where the Department of Defense is saying, according to classified reports, that there is a safety issue for national security. I wonder if they read in Janice Goldbeck. Maybe not. I'd be curious if Goldbeck has been talked to, with the DOD about it, because they both have totally different stories. Now, the administration was met with applause from Robert Schaefer. Now, Robin Schaefer is the president of Protect Our Coast, New Jersey. So she wants to protect the coast, and protecting the coast to her means not having the wind. Protecting the coast to Goldbeck means having the wind. Robin says this is an incredible Christmas gift for our thousands of supporters, hardworking fishermen, small business owners, and families who value reliable, affordable energy over climate virtue signaling. I guess he's labeling wind energy as a climate virtue signaling. NOAA, it kicks in too, the National Ocean Industries Association, President Eric Milito. He said in a statement that the DOD regulatory process already involves a rigorous framework for assessing national security. Implications saying that the project in question, plus all other under construction, have already undergone review by the Department of Defense without any objection. The process, as required by law, provides a timely, transparent, and repeatable process to evaluate potential impact and mitigation options related to offshore energy capability. The Department of Defense coordinates at every stage of planning, permitting, and developing. Well, obviously, Eric is saying that there's no national security because we've already been vetted for national security. They've already gone through it. Well, maybe it's new information. So these organizations like National Ocean Industries and this vet organization called the Vet Voice Foundation, I would think would get some kind of briefing or something from the DOD. Yeah. Oh, my fact checker's helping me. Remember, I said Clearwater. A lot of the industry from New York City investments going to Clearwater, but more is going to Dallas. And he reminded me something that Dallas is the New York Stock Exchange. That's what's moving into Dallas, and it's the NASDAQ. It's moved into Clearwater. Yeah. Washington lawmakers cited the DOD's own past unclassified reports showing that the offshore project in question are up to national standards as of December 24, a year ago. The construction of the Revolution Wind Project, officials said the project with no more than 65 wind turbines and 873 feet above sea level, and no more than 2 offshore substations up to 228 feet above sea level would not adverse impact to DOD missions. And again, between the lawmakers, National Ocean Industries Association, and this vets organization, this may be new information from the DOD. A year ago they gave it a clearance. Now they're looking at it and they're questioning something. And I think we have a right to know. And I think these guys should be briefed, since they're so heavily engaged. They should be briefed that it's real. This national security is real, or blow it up and say it's not real. We have no idea. We just know a report exists. We're not released any information. National Ocean Industries Association, Eric says, again, offshore wind improves our national security by shifting economic infrastructure and geopolitical advantages to the U.S. through increasing shipbuilding, enhanced to our ports, greater energy security to power surging electricity demand, more manufacturing and good-paying jobs, additional business for the oil and gas supply chain, and collaborative opportunities for our military. All those things are true. But if there's a direct national security issue, it needs to be addressed. It's been paused. Well, hopefully they can get to the bottom of whatever has got them concerned and maybe turn it back on if it's already been permitted. The Raw materials are in place. The people are in place. I hate to see a business held up for nothing. Retired Army General James Spider Marks, Senior Intelligence Officer for the 2003 liberation of Iraq, said the former commanding general of the U.S. Army Intelligence Center said a statement that the federal government's decision only provides China with a leg up in the energy wars. America needs a strong offshore wind industry in order to compete with China. China currently operates 129 offshore wind farms, the most of any country, and much more than the 4 wind farms currently operating in the United States. By dwarfing our domestic energy projects, China is well positioned to withstand global supply shocks and power its military growth and modernization, which will only grow unless our country makes the necessary investments. So I guess I don't understand why so many agencies are against this shutting it down, and they're not, I guess, giving the information from the DOD on why it's such a big deal. But it creates confusion for me. I'm gonna take a break, and we'll be right back. AM 560.
Here's a look at your Christmas forecast. 78 and sunny today, 5 to 10 mile per hour southeast winds. Few clouds tonight, 52 the low. Friday, cloudy and 71, cloudy and 56 on Friday night. Partly cloudy and 69 on Saturday.
We're the comfort experts, people you can trust. Ask our customers. That's why they count on us. Over 50 years of service, keep us going strong. We've got a name you can depend upon. Hansberger Refrigeration and Electric. Hansberger, count on us.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
At Exceptional Community Hospital, we are redefining what emergency care should feel like. Fast, personal, and compassionate. Our experienced ER physicians and staff are here 24/7 to care for your unexpected illness or injury. Don't wait for emergency care when you can be seen in minutes. With short wait times, you'll get the prompt attention you need because every minute matters. And if your recovery takes longer, we provide the inpatient care you deserve. Exceptional Community Hospital. Compassionate care. Exceptional service.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. My fact checker sent me a lot of information that I want to go through real quick. The life lost in Delaware was actually a state trooper, and I said it was a federal employee with Homeland Security. It wasn't. It was a trooper working with the DMV. That's right. I think he was at a desk. He has a wife and a 1-year-old daughter, and he just lost his life on Christmas Eve. And talking about the wind energy and all, and Edward's more of an investor and probably knows this a lot more than most, but he says solar and wind projects start off increasing value, but after 3 years, it begins to cost more and produce a higher level of carbon dioxide production in the secondary markets. He says, do you have any idea how much diesel they have to burn to mix that much concrete or make that steel and haul this out there and put it together with a 450-foot crane? Do you want to guess how much oil it takes to lubricate that thing, winterize it? And it's 20-year lifespan. It won't offset the carbon footprint of making it. I've read some of that before. You know, they're just it's not really saving the planet. It does produce electricity, but at what cost? It does produce electricity. So does photovoltaic, and I like photovoltaic too. But it's not the solution. The solution, and Heidi Still, that's a listener. She she wrote, jobs lost, material bought lost. What about the wall, which Biden stopped? That's a good. And of course, she's talking about the wall that Trump was building, and it was under construction with contracts to finish the construction when Biden took the oath. And on day one, immediately, he took the oath and picked up an auto pen and stopped building the wall, sold the material as scrap. It was just unbelievably horrible what he did. And then opened up the borders and for him. So he sent airplanes to many countries to bring people in faster. Heidi also says a new nuclear power plant would provide more power and predictable power and less harm and much longer life. Oh yeah, it would be a lot longer life. I'm positive on nuclear. I think that is the way to go. And I know they're talking about these smaller nuclear power plants. Oh, that wasn't Edward's speech. That was a landman speech that I just read about the diesel burning and all that. But Edward gave it to me. Did Mexico ever pay for the wall? No. That question gets asked all the time. President Trump said Mexico would pay for the wall, but they did pay for some stuff. They had quite a few federal agents helping, during the Trump administration on the border, where they don't now. And Biden got all that stopped. I mean, they were helping with the cause, but they certainly didn't help pay for it as promised. That's true. That did not happen. He also writes, his listener, that Trump Kennedy Center really sounds like a self-aggrandizement, just feeds the narrative of him being narcissistic, bad PR. I don't even disagree with that. It's probably bad PR. And he likes his name on buildings. There's no question. He has, I forget, I think over 500 properties, golf clubs, casinos, hotels, all kinds of, but only half of them have his name. I don't know why the other half don't, but I thought he liked his name up there, the Trump hotels or the Trump casinos or whatever. He picks and chooses. Let me see. I'm just checking some of the listeners' comments. Melanie writes it on the news last night. They said a bill was being created to do a study on Trump derangement syndrome. I think I heard that briefly. I didn't know it was a bill. I thought they were doing some studies looking at it. Some stuff. I don't know how scientific that all is on Trump derangement system. It does. It does exist. I mean, there's people that hate Trump enough to hurt the country, hurt themselves, or whatever, if it was Trump's idea, just to make sure that it doesn't get done. For whatever reason, they don't like Trump. That's Trump derangement syndrome, I guess. Is stop Trump at all costs. Let me see. Now, when the question came up about Trump paying for the wall, I said no, he didn't. But they did help. Well, Edward adds to that. Every illegal that is stopped didn't cost the American taxpayers in funding their lives. So they did help in a way. They helped pay for the wall in a way. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Mel. How are you, sir? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and to all your listeners here and about, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good day.
So far, yes.
Good. A very nice day. Actually, it's relatively warm here today, which is, decent, I guess. But anyway, had a nice morning so far, and things are going well. So anyway, I want to call, and I know folks are probably ripping open Christmas presents and getting ready for whatever is going to go on the rest of the day. But I want to take the time to remind them of the reason that we have this special day.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to do. This is, I guess, this is the 11th year that we've done this.
Has it been? We were Andy and I were talking about this morning. We didn't know how long it was been. I didn't know if it was 15, but 11 could be right. I don't know.
Well, I did it a couple of times before that, but I know it's been every year since Mary passed, and that was in 15 she passed. So anyway, here we go, folks. I'm going to take and read from the King James Bible. We'll start with the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 1, starting in verse 18, about Jesus Christ and the birth of Christ and the reason for the season. So if you like to read along with me, open your Bible and let's get started. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise. When his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. While he thought on those things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now all this was done, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and she shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife, and knew her not, till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus. Now we will switch over to the book of Luke.
Okay.
Chapter 2, verse 8, the first 14 verses. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one to his own city. And Joseph went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, unto Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was, that while they were there, the days were accomplished, that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in that same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flocks by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. The glory of the Lord shone around about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Folks, that's the reason we celebrate today.
Yep.
All too often we forget about that with all of the glitz and the glamour and the advertising and the Santa Claus stuff. But it's because God sent his son down here to take care of us, to watch over us. So remember the reason for the season.
We need to not ever forget it, Mel. I appreciate
Amen.
you taking the time to do that.
Oh, I appreciate you allowing me the time. Quite frankly, it's been a fun and been a privilege to do this for the past year. So, and I hope we can do it for a few more at least.
As long as you're capable, man, we're ready.
Well, I appreciate that, Russ. I really do, and I hope you and yours have a great, very blessed holiday season and a happy New Year, happy and prosperous New Year to all of our listeners, wherever you are. So, anyway, take care, my friend, and
thank you.
We'll talk again someday.
Thank you, sir. Take care, man. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And of course, that was Mel Shoney reading the reason for the season, which is very nice. I mean, he's been doing it. He said 11 years. I didn't know. I thought maybe 15. I thought maybe he read it a few times before that. But I think 11 years ago, he became a regular, like a daily guest host on the show for many years. It was able to come in and contribute to what we do in here. I got, let's see, I got another story. Phone lines are open, by the way, 928-344-5258. CBS didn't include the White House statement about angel parents. I think I mentioned that yesterday, but it was a big shakeup at CBS, I think, anyway. It was a big shakeup when 60 Minutes was going to do a report on the Seacot prison there in El Salvador, but they asked the White House for comments about it. You know, we're going to do a report. It's going to put you in a bad light. Do you have any comments? And the only comment they asked the show to amplify stories of angel parents. Our angel parents are the ones that have lost loved ones through activities done by illegal aliens. A lot of it criminal activity, including drunk driving and stuff like that. They did not play it. They didn't put that in the program at all. They did put some comment in there from Trump about illegals. I don't remember what it was, but that's not what the White House wanted. Well, Barry Weiss decided to delay it. I guess he got nervous after all the lawsuits that have been won by Donald Trump for misrepresenting and being jaded on the news organizations. CBS has paid their share towards Trump's library. I guess that's where the money goes. He's building a library fund. I understand he has like $700 million already in that library fund. That's what I heard the other day on another report. And that Biden has less than 100 million. Yeah, Biden's not getting a lot of contributions either. Apparently, he's not the darling of the left like Obama when he left. And Obama spent over $1 billion on his library, the one that looks like a big garbage can there in South Side Chicago. But it does have a basketball court in it. And he invites kids in to use the basketball court. It's partially opened. It's not finished, but it's partially opened and doing that. But I thought that was a big deal. CBS realize they've got bias. They realize that they've, can get in trouble for that they've been sued over it and have lost money. And I think that's what it takes for them to open their eyes a little bit and start looking at getting some kind of balanced reporting out there. Now, the left doesn't see it that way. You hear the left talk about it all the time that Trump is attacking free speech. No, free speech is available. That was never the issue. But, of course, that's how they label it, free speech, that we can make up stories or whatever. You can see it, though. The 60-minute segment did air in Canada. I guess the cancellation didn't come out fast enough. So it did air in Canada, and it did get out on social media, YouTube or something. I mean, it is available out there. I did not watch it at all. But they're interviewing these prisoners that were let go out of Seacot, explaining stories of torture and bad living conditions and horribleness that they had to endure. There were 3 of them. Which that's what they were there for. I mean, not there in prison. I mean, that's why they were being interviewed. they were looking to sling some mud at Trump for sending people to such a horrible, torturous place. But I would imagine if you take people out of prisons in the United States, I think you're going to get similar stories. I mean, nobody's going to say, it was a paradise. I just loved being there. And I know I was guilty. No, none of them. They're all going to say that. No, I'm not a part of Tren de Agua, and I was kidnapped illegally. I was taken off street. I don't have to watch it. I pretty much know the script, and I know that this prison CCOT, which they've allowed cameras in. They're not shy about what they're doing. They've had cameras in the thing to show them, and a lot of our legislators have visited. A lot of people have visited. Probably more have visited CCOT than have visited a lot of our notorious prisons here in the United States. So they can throw trash at President Trump for sending gang members and illegal aliens to that place. So, which is probably imbalanced in itself. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas.
How are you doing?
Trying to do really well, and I think it's working.
Good. Merry Christmas to all the listeners too.
Yeah, both of them.
CB.
It's
you and me.
Yeah, most people are off today, but I don't care. I'm going to be on the air anyway.
Well, your guys are working, aren't they?
No. I'm not as bad as you say I am, I guess. In fact,
I never thought you were bad.
They got off at noon yesterday, actually.
Right. Yeah. You told me that. I just pulling your leg.
I know, but you're doing it publicly. Yeah. I had to defend myself a little bit here.
You work for GP, you slave drivers.
That's right. That's right.
Well, General Parts slave driver.
Look, man. I'm the one that got up and was in studio by 4:00 this morning to make sure we do a show. And that's all volunteer work. I don't mind doing it. Just to keep the show on air and keep it going. I could have stayed home today if I really wanted to and played something else on the air, some recording or something. Kind of like what Gutfeld does. And I always hate it when Gutfeld does that because I kind of enjoy him. And then he takes time off because he thinks he needs time with his family, and,
what family? He ain't got no family.
He's married and got a couple dogs, man. Yeah.
I kind of like the commentary on the show now that he's, he took a break, let Shulu and the rest of them and Tyrus and all.
They've improved greatly. They really have. And I didn't used to listen to them much because they weren't that, they didn't carry the show very well. But I think they are now. I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. That is the hottest show at that slot.
Number one.
Yeah, it is. They do a great job, but he takes off. He probably won't even be on today. Because he's normal. No, nobody's going to be on today. Nobody.
Nah.
Only the second-rate guys like me and stuff. We're on today. But
Russ,
I don't mind.
Don't belittle yourself on air. God, man.
I don't take myself that seriously, but I enjoy doing it.
Really?
Now, really, I don't. Do you have big plans today?
I'm talking to you, aren't I?
No, that's it. That's your big day. Well, I think I'm going to go visit the grandkids a little bit. We're going to be out on riding around a little bit, and doing some of that, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I was amazed when I went out last night at 1:00 in the morning. It was warm but humid or wet, whatever.
Yeah.
Checking on the creek out front, making sure it hadn't got up to the house yet.
There was a little standing water this morning when I went out. I was kind of surprised. I didn't know it rained that hard, but it must have rained a little bit overnight.
Yeah, it skirted us, thank God.
Yeah.
I haven't yet to go see any of the footage of California, but it was rough. North all the way south.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just glad y'all are okay down there in the swamp.
It's not a swamp. We're doing fine. Yeah, it's a low area, but we're okay. See.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Pope Leo XIV delivering his twice-yearly message and blessing to the city and the world following his first Christmas Day Mass today, in which he called for peace in Ukraine.
May the clamor of weapons cease, and may the parties involved, with the support and commitment of the international community, find the courage to engage in sincere, direct, and respectful dialogue.
The Pope also lamenting living conditions for Palestinians in Gaza. The U.S. and Ukraine make some progress on a peace deal.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is now offering a compromise. He's proposing both sides withdraw their troops from the eastern Donbas region and turn it into a demilitarized zone. He wants the same done around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. They would be policed by an international force. The plan also includes security guarantees for Ukraine involving the U.S. and European allies. Zelensky says an agreement on his country's recovery and economic strategy has also been prepared, but he stresses more meetings are needed to address sensitive issues.
Fox's Chanley Painter, it's a very Merry Christmas for at least one Powerball player.
The top-tier winning ticket for Powerball's $1.8 billion jackpot on Christmas Eve was sold in Arkansas. The winning numbers are 4, 25, 31, 52, and 59. The Powerball is 19. It's the second largest jackpot in lotto history. The winner or winners have the choice of an annuitized prize of $1.8 billion over 29 years or a lump sum payment of $834.9 million. Match 5 tickets worth $1 million each were sold in 7 states: California, Indiana, Michigan, 2 in New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. I'm Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry. Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry. Terry, Terry. Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states.
From the News 11's Information Desk, I'm Jelena Aguilera. The Crossroads mission of Yuma hosted the second day of their 3 days of Christmas. Day 2 looked a little different than Day 1, but the goal was the same, to make sure no one goes without a warm meal this holiday season. The meal was roast beef dinner, including roast beef, mashed potatoes, salad, bread, and many dessert options. Plus, help save lives this holiday season with blood donation. The 3rd annual Heroes Blood Drive is taking place from this Saturday through Monday, December 29th. It will be at the Yuma Palms Mall right by Five Below. All the blood collected goes to My Talent. This blood drive is so important because the holidays are a time when blood donations are low. But the need for blood is very high. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's 8:05 on a Christmas morning. Good morning. And I have a phone call. Let me grab that. You're on the air.
Interrupt me like that with that commercial break.
You know, it wasn't really me. The computer took over. I wasn't paying attention. You know,
I know. I wasn't either. I had my back to the clock.
No, I should.
But yeah, go ahead.
I should be looking. I wasn't. I don't care. It's Christmas. It's my day off.
I know.
What's up?
It gave me something to sit here and bitch about. It
Glad I
cut
could
me
help.
off. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, I just hope you and your alls have a really good one.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what were you discussing right before I called?
I can't remember. I've slept since then. I don't know. Mel had just read some biblical verses out of Luke and Matthew, and
I know that was sweet. That was very it was very sweet.
Yeah, I talked about the angel parents that the White House wanted included in the 60 Minutes, and I got that wrong a little bit. The 60 Minutes did not air in Canada. It actually,
that's what it was.
That's what it was. The Canadian, I guess,
aired it. Yeah.
Well, they didn't air it. They put it on YouTube accidentally.
Right.
Put accidentally in quotes. I accidentally posted it before seeing the story had been pulled. They went ahead and put it on. I don't think. Do they really do that? Do they put it on YouTube before they even air it? I would think that's kind of backwards. Usually, you put it on YouTube after they make you watch the show live.
All of them on the Gutfield show wanted to see it, but they didn't want to travel to Canada to see it.
Oh, well, you don't have to. YouTube's right here in America, man. You just sign on. Yeah, not too bright over there at Gutfield.
No, the big thing with CBS was that the story was a hack job. It was loaded one way, and that's not what the news is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be the equality in the story, not loading it one way or the other. And that's what CBS was saying. And what happened was all the reporters and all tried to make a coup out of it. And CBS said, no, we run this station. We own this station. You don't own this station. You work for us. And that was what the biggest problem or the biggest thing was with the management. They knew it was a hack job. They knew there could be legality involved in it. And 3, they own the station, not the reporters.
Yeah. Well, and they can refuse to air stuff. The affiliates did that when Kimmel was suspended or whatever and came back. They went ahead and didn't air it. Some of the affiliates said, "Oh, he's too hot and too controversial. We're not going to air him for a while." And they backed off airing him for a while. So I guess they got some freedom to do it. I don't know how much, but
well, what I gathered from all the different pundits that were discussing it was the arrogant reporters were trying to run the station's venue.
Yeah.
And the station said, no, I'm the, whoever the head of the news departments and all said, no, I run this place. You do what I say.
Well, Barry Wise is the one that just made the decision at the last minute. He's the editor-in-chief at CBS News and said, look, we're going to delay this a little bit, take another look at it, make sure it's complete, type it was not ready, maybe. Which is prudent. I mean, I respect him for it. He's showing some sense that, if they're going to put something out there that's really going to cause problems for them. And it didn't used to be like that. I mean, that was, Trump's won too many lawsuits now for, obvious misdirection. He's even out to the BBC right now. When for something they did a few years ago, back on the J6 thing, when they cut up his speech, like they paused it, they cut out 54 minutes.
Right. And then tied them back together.
Tied it back together. So it made it sound like he was saying, go be violent, which he wasn't. Right. He never did.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's good that he's doing it. I'm not litigious. I don't like lawyers. I like lawyers, but I don't like going to them just, fix things for me. I don't do that. I could have sued companies in the past for wrongdoings and stuff like that. But then you live that life. That's what you do. You're going to be in court. You're going to be depositions. You're going to be living that life. And I didn't want to do it. I'm not there.
Lawyers and boats are the same. Yeah. The day you get it and the day you get rid of it.
Well,
that's how you love them.
And I want to specify that's when I'm a private citizen. Now, if you're in a business, lawyers are just part of the business at some point. You're just a regular because there's always going to be stupid going on and you need them. But for me, I thought, I'm not doing business anymore, really. I fix a few cars, that's it. But I didn't think I needed lawyers. Although I am being sued for $10 million right now.
Do you have it?
No. No.
Then they could,
I don't even have the money to pay for the lawyers, but
that they could kiss your golden ring.
No, it's for a wrongful death. When I owned the Napa stores many years ago, there was all that stuff. It's just crazy that she says I was I'm getting sued because they're saying I'm involved in a RICO case, and I purposely hid the facts of the death of this man, which I actually loved the guy. He was a great guy. And that I've been involved in a conspiracy for the last 10 years or whatever it's been, trying to hide it with the helps of big companies and small companies, and we're all in it together as a RICO case. What are you talking about? This is kind of crazy, but crazy or not, they can throw a lawsuit out there and you still have to pay to defend it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to do the same thing to Paul Ficina, when we were doing the top side of 495.
Yeah.
One of our employees was standing close enough to the Jersey wall when I guess it would be eastbound, north or eastbound car jumped the wall and killed him. And they went after Ficina for not protecting him. And we had done all our due diligence at all. I mean, the car was speeding, wrecked, jumped the wall and killed him.
Right.
And take it for what it's worth, but we did not get found guilty of any wrongdoings for what happened. The vehicle was the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We enacted all the safety procedures. They said, well, the safety person should have kept him away from the wall and blah, blah, blah. You know how that goes. Well, they will throw.
I'm in a similar case, but this was in 2009. And they already had a wrongful death suit, which they lost. My insurance company paid for it all because I was heavily insured. But then they came back later, said, well, we're going to extend the statute of limitations because it's a RICO case now because I'm running an illegal business. I'm like, what are you talking about? There is, which it's ridiculous. There's no such thing that exists.
Right.
But I have to spend money to prove it.
Well, did they think you would cave and just make up some kind of settlement?
I have
settlement?
I have no idea. And it's not a lawyer that's suing me. This girl's doing it on her own.
Right.
Because my lawyers say that no lawyer would take a case like this. It's kind of crazy. But it's real. It's out there. You got to treat it like whatever.
Right. And throwing mud at you.
Yeah.
And some people will believe it.
I don't know. And this guy,
the tort laws in this country are ridiculous.
You
know what I'm saying?
Well, this guy was murdered by not me. I was asleep, but he was delivering to my store in Somerton, in 2009, and some agricultural workers, which I'm not disparaging the agricultural workers, but some bad guy was out there and decided to rob him at 2:00 in the morning, and they say I didn't have adequate protection, and I knew that Somerton was a war zone.
Right.
I didn't know Somerton's not a war zone. It's not. It's a bedroom community.
Did that employee not take the job?
But he didn't even work for me. He worked for the corporate.
Well,
he took the job.
Yeah. And you would think they were from that area. They knew what was going on and blah, blah.
He was out of San Diego delivering to me, but we had all the requirements the corporate wanted, a secure area, well lit, visible to the street and all that kind of stuff. Just there was a bad guy that, got caught just hours later because it was like stupid.
Right.
Stupid.
Well, just think of all the other businesses in the United States that operate at those hours in those conditions, and the what are they going to sue all the different businesses in the United States and an employee at that time of night?
Genuine Parts does that everywhere in the nation. They deliver at night, all over the country, thousands of guys a night. That's the first murder ever done was in Somerton. First one ever. And we deliver, they deliver overnight in LA. We deliver everywhere.
Right.
And Somerton was Fallujah to GPC, Genuine Parts Company. It's the first time ever that
Right,
somebody
right.
was. So they got the impression, we're some kind of gang-ridden community down in Somerton. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm stuck with defending a lawsuit on a wrongful death, which is just insane.
Right, and they're
yeah.
And they're somehow they're going to get paid or get some the press. Oh, we handled these great cases. Oh, we're the greatest lawyers around. Whatever, and it's doing nothing. But like I say, the tort laws need to be reformed in this country, especially for businesses.
Well, I think the winner, whoever wins the case, should get all their legal fees paid. Some countries do that. That would be a big deal. Then these frivolous things would go away.
I mean, all the there is some there are responsibilities that go with both sides of that. Here we go back to that thing with Trump. Mm-hmm. Some of the people are good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I told you, when you put a bunch of lawyers in a room, you get nothing but confusion.
Well, some lawyers try to create confusion, I'm sure, to protect their clients, but we'll see. But this lady doesn't even have a lawyer. She's doing it herself. She's using AI to help write stuff.
Right.
and the judges are being very patient with it because we've had orders to dismiss out there and they don't dismiss it, which is kind of driving my lawyers crazy.
Well, that's just a waste of taxpayers' money, then.
Yeah,
basically.
Well,
how long has it been going on? 6 years? 7 years?
For me, no, it's all brand new. They just brought it back up, which is way past statute of limitations. And she's saying that doesn't count because we didn't get the information that he was a RICO case until now. RICO? Like I'm a mobster. Yeah, kind of crazy.
All right.
Well, but it doesn't matter. It's a lawsuit no matter what. You got to go through it.
They'll fold and it costs you a bunch of money. Isn't that sweet?
No, it's not. It's not good at all. But that's exactly where it's headed now. And I found out something about our judicial system in doing this, because I've asked the questions like, well, how can this case even move forward when there's absolutely no hint of any fraud or anything? I mean, my record is, going through with Genuine Parts Company, a big company. And they're saying that they're even involved in it. They were the parent company that actually hired the employee, but I didn't know how to even go through, and they don't have to prove anything.
Right.
It's up to me to prove innocence.
And so, station the U.S. Cavalry down there at all those stores to protect people.
No, I think that's what they wanted. Yeah. Well, and this lady lost her father. It's a sad deal. It's terrible. And he was a great guy. He was a great guy. I really liked him. In fact, I hired him because I used to work for GPC. I worked for Genuine Parts Company at the time he was hired, and he was a driver for me. He was a great driver. And the weird thing is that he's an immigrant, legal, and he left Iran when the Shah left because he's a Christian, and he knew he would be killed. So he came to the United States for sanctuary to raise his family as Christians, and then he's murdered in Somerton. Which
I know.
Man, that's just a horrible thing. And this lady is, she's just trying to get through it, I guess. I don't know. But it's been since 2009. And now she's saying, well, we can open it up. Statute of limitations doesn't count because it's a RICO case. And I think she had AI write all this stuff up, which doesn't even make sense. But the courts are being very patient because she's representing herself. So they're giving her a little more leeway, which is costing me a lot.
I know. and I blame, I truly blame this on the judges. Because a judge would look at it and go, hey, I'm bouncing this. Get this out of here. This didn't happen. This is a sheer waste.
Right.
A sheer waste.
Right.
Court time, right?
Yeah.
Other people could need those lawyers for defense or prosecution, however you want to look at it. It's just the judges will not use good jurisprudence.
Well, this is all civil too, so And it's costing her, very little, but the lawyers are going to be asking for restitution of, for legal fees because it's. But who knows? They don't always give that. They don't. That's not a norm. They don't always give that.
Well, here, I'll give you something to tell you, lawyers. Look up a court case in Maryland. Had an employee fall off a crusher. He caused it himself, but he was on the job site by himself.
Yeah.
He was trying to pry a huge piece of liquefied concrete out of the crusher. When he did it, he pulled on it. The bar hit him in the forehead, knocked him 18 feet or so to the ground, broke his neck.
Yeah.
Ficina took care of him completely.
Yeah.
Okay. And the lawyers were through his wife's friends all over there. And she said, look, Paul Ficina's taking care of everything for her husband. But they knew it was not anything that Ficina did to cause it.
Yeah, and there was no unsafe practices or anything that was
Right.
Okay.
Actually, it was more his fault for doing it late at night or, after the crews had left.
Yeah.
Doing something he really shouldn't have do it with the bar. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they probably could have taken it all the way through for years of court, but they didn't because they knew the right thing was just to let Ficina handle it all and pay for whatever he, could to make her and the kids' life comfortable and all, and take care of our insurance. Took care of the employee. That was the right thing to do.
Right. Well, in this case, that the employee worked for Genuine Parts Company, which I know took care of him somehow, but I don't know how much. I don't know what happened, but Genuine Parts Company took care of whatever their obligation was. I have no idea what that was because it didn't work for me, and they sued me at that time, and of course my insurance lawyers all took care of it all, and it got dismissed. And this lady had the local courts throw out that dismissal. And that's how she was able to sue me. So we got new information that he's a RICO case, and they were running this RICO case or something. I don't know. I can't make sense of it. And
I'm telling you, mob connected people.
Well, I don't think so.
God. Where's J. Edgar Hoover when you need him?
Man, I appreciate
anyway,
it.
You have a lovely weekend or evening.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Phone lines open 928-344-5258. And it's Christmas. I mean, talk about my lawsuits, but it's frustrating sometimes. Some of this stuff, these frivolous things. I want to talk about this Muslim London mayor, the Mayor Khan. It sounds like a Star Trek show, but it's not. He's real. He's a real mayor in London. He wanted to cancel Christmas in London. I don't know if you heard about that. He wanted to cancel Christmas. That celebrating the birth of Christ sparked controversy. And I saw something on TV when he went to it. I mean, there was a celebration, but he gave warnings, and he labeled it as a far right event, raised concerns about it being Islamophobic. But in spite of that, thousands of people came to that celebration where they were celebrating Christianity and the birth of Christ and all that, and Christmas. And I remember during some of the readings of scripture that were going on, even, his face turned sour at times. He just looked shocked, because I guess it was against it. It was controversial for him, I guess, but it was nothing, Islamophobic in it. But even with his warnings, thousands attended it, and they emphasized the importance of Christianity in British culture, which he bristled about, highlighted the growing civilization populism movement within Europe, and it is. I think it's growing in this country also. Christianity is still growing, and even in Yuma, churches are filling up, and young people going to church. And I don't have the stats in front of me, but there's been a real rise in younger people attending churches. And I told you I went to church for the city on Christmas Eve. To the second one, there were 3. They had to have 3, and that place holds well over 800 people, and they had to have 3 services on Christmas Eve. The first one was standing room only. They were to the point they were standing in the area, and they were some of them in a upstairs area that can overlook it that normally has nobody. You're not supposed to. I mean, that's usually something that's for projectionists or something to go up in there, and they did that because you can only have so many people on the floor. So Christianity, and you'll see in a lot of these churches around you, that just are vibrant, doing really well. Well, it's like that around the world, and including in Christmas. But there's a Muslim mayor that wanted to cancel it. He said Christmas celebration is a far right warning of potential unrest. Thousands gathered in London celebrate Christianity and reclaim Christmas. The rise of civilization populism reflects a backlash against political correctness in Europe. Event underscores the reemergence of Christianity in the public square amid secularization trends. And the Muslim faith is not secular at all. I think Khan is a practicing Muslim, and he's the mayor. And he took his opportunities being mayor to try to stop the growth of Christianity, which is a horrible commentary, but it happened. I got another story about an Arizona lawmaker, and I like her. I've only met her a couple times. Arizona State Senator Janae Champ, tall lady with a cowboy hat. Every time I've seen her, anyway. She has a bill out there, Senate Bill 1070. She introduced it Monday. That gives the Arizona Department of Health Service a year to study the origins, manifestations, and long-term effects on individuals, communities, and the public discourse of the condition of Trump derangement syndrome. When I first heard they wanted to do a research on Trump derangement syndrome, I thought, to what avail? Of course, is that a dig at Trump or something? No, it's not. It's not. It's about exposing it for what it is. But let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Merry Christmas. This is Sandy.
Well, good morning, Sandy, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you very much. And that's to you, your wife, your family, your friends. Thank you to Mel for his reading from the Bible. And my husband and I have a question for you.
Shoot.
What does RICO mean?
That's a running an illegal business, a mobster, and that's how they go after gangsters and stuff, because they funnel money through back doors and back chambers and all that kind of stuff. And if you're involved in those kinds of activities, I guess the statute of limitation changes, or at least it does in this case, because they say we didn't know it at the time, and since RICO was existing, there was a conspiracy type deal to not pay us for the wrongful death, and it was a conspiracy between many different businesses. That still goes on to this day. The statute of limitations doesn't run because the conspiracy still works and still goes on to cover up the loss of life, which is just a ridiculous statement. It was an unfortunate incident, but
right. We were trying to remember. I think we remember that happening.
Yeah.
Back in 2009.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing.
It really
and,
was. Great.
Families.
Yeah.
Families make terrible mistakes when they're grieving. It's something that I hope President Trump gets Comey and that crowd, Brennan and all of them, for their conspiracy, though I don't think that's RICO then. So it's money. It has to do with money and conspiracy. Okay.
Yeah, it has to do with cheating, lying, and working with other companies to do that. I don't know the exact definition. I'll have to look it up. But It's been used before, like against Al Capone and those kinds of guys.
Right.
Because
right.
they're funneling money around and something. There's stuff. I'll have to get my fact checker to straighten me out on that. But she said because I was running an illegal business because my address, believe it or not, on 102 Congress Street was actually we had listed as 102 Congress Avenue. So obviously it was RICO. We were lying.
Oh, street to avenue?
Yes.
Now, that is ridiculous.
We still got our mail every day, and I didn't draw up the papers for rental. It was a rental. I mean, the owner of the property did. So I didn't know it was avenue or street. It didn't matter. We got the mail.
Sometimes that is, you can have different documents for a place, and they have avenue in some cases, street in other cases.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous to me, anyway.
Well, that's what they came up with. That shows that I was running an illegal business.
Well, I hope it all clears up for you and it becomes not a problem. I'm sorry for that family's grief, but you don't take your grief and use it unwisely. You should have people around you that can say, this is ridiculous, like I'm saying, and I don't know these people, but anyway, well, I hope you have a good day and a Merry Christmas, and the same to everybody who listens to your show and everybody who calls in. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll have a really good new year. Of course, we're not done with this year yet. And I hope we have a really great year next year.
My fact checker just gave me the definition of RICO. It stands for Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act.
That's why I can't remember it then. That's probably why people say RICO instead.
yeah. Racketeering, all that kind of stuff.
All right.
Thank
well,
you, man.
have an awesome day. Thanks for being on the show today. I was surprised.
Al, thank you so much. What else am I going to do? I mean, this is what I get up for.
Well, next thing you can do is open packages and help your wife prepare a great meal for whatever you're doing today or going out or anyway, just try to enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, ma'am. I will. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, my fact checker says that Capone was convicted on tax evasion. And I knew that. I guess I used his name just as a mobster because he's a mobster. And that's usually where the racketeering comes in. But no, he was not brought up on RICO charges. That's although he probably could have been. There's probably some stuff going on that was off book for him also. Let me take a break and I'll be right back. AM 560.
Here's a look at your Christmas forecast. 78 and sunny today, 5 to 10 mile per hour southeast winds. Few clouds tonight, 52 the low. Friday, cloudy and 71, cloudy and 56 on Friday night. Partly cloudy and 69 on Saturday.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
Since 1905, the Yuma County Chamber of Commerce has been the voice for business in Greater Yuma. Want to stay informed about Yuma's business community? The Chamber connects you with local leaders, business and marketing opportunities, and advocacy that ensures Yuma stays a great place for your business to grow and thrive. Serving all of Yuma and Yuma County, including the Kokopah and Quishan nations, the Chamber strengthens partnerships that move our region forward. Be part of Yuma's business network. Call Valeria or Ashley today at 928-782-2567.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It is 8:34 on a Christmas morning. Merry Christmas. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. Chuck just sent me something real quick that I find of interest. I'm a pilot, although I haven't flown anything in a long time, but I do like airplanes. He sent me some video of a plane that landed outside Denver. It lost cabin pressure shortly after taking off from Aspen. Aspen, of course, is already at high altitude and all that. And It doesn't say if the pilot lost consciousness or something. I don't know, but apparently the plane landed itself. It's got some kind of thing that can take over. It's an auto land system, but it's a private plane. It's a small, it looks like a King Air type plane. Twin engine. I say small compared to a airliner, but it landed itself. I'll have to read more about it, but interesting. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Merry Christmas, Russ.
Merry Christmas, OG. Good morning.
Yeah. What's that mayor's name in Chicago? Is it Johnson?
Kane.
Okay.
Kane.
Well, he's out there telling he's out there telling everybody that Trump had declared war on all the cities in America.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of London. You said Chicago. Yeah, it is Johnson. Yeah. Mike Johnson. Sure.
Yeah. No, but he's telling. See, the Democrats are famous for twisting what they're doing, and he twisted it and saying Trump had declared civil war on the cities of this country. In fact, that's what's going on right now. The media keeps calling it a terrorist, but it's not.
Yeah.
This is a war. They are trying to take over this country because they're down to the violence element of their attack. The rhetoric that they had been, the bamboozling, hadn't been working with Trump. So now they're trying to take it over physically, and the media is not telling anybody what's going on in Portland or Chicago or Atlanta, Georgia. They're not telling you about all this violence that's going on, and even in New York. And they're not telling you. And if you're watching the media and that's the sole source of your news, you people are screwed. I'm telling you. You better get on the internet and go on some of these Twitter sites and such and X. And that's where you get your news. Like the Gen Zs do it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Yeah. And you're right. They're not telling us. But worse than that, some of these mayors have been hiding the criminality by not charging people or by charging them for lesser crimes, which really blew up in Washington, D.C. just recently.
Do you recall, I've always said communism starts at the good old boy local level. You recall me saying?
Sure.
This is what is happening, folks. The good old boys in these cities, they just happen to be Democrats, are taking over your cities, a city at a time. It's called communism. So people, you guys better not be flipping that the midterms. You better keep what we got till we get the country fixed. Yes. So that's my Christmas present. We are at war, and think about it and bring in the new year. Be a little smarter than what you are this year, and know that it's a war. So a bunch of little terrorists out there just protesting. That's all it is. Right now, ICE is manning the front lines, and Trump has sent in the military, if you recall, in LA.
Yeah.
So this is war, folks. Camouflage. There's a couple of little terrorists out here doing a bad thing, and he had to clean up Chicago. So people, if you're thinking about getting tired of Trump, buddy, you better get enough thought because you're going to be tired of digital currency. I'll tell you that. And by the way, does anybody know? Have you explained to them what digital currency is about?
I'm gonna let someone else do that, but I mean, digital currency is taking over stuff, and
yes, it is. It's the ultimate controller of humankind. That's what it is.
I'm using a lot more of it than I'm just using. I pay with digitally on credit cards, or I have a checking account. I never write a check. I just do it all digitally.
Here's what I do, Russ, when I go make a purchase.
Yeah.
I keep I got about $10,000 worth of $2 bills and $50 bills.
Uh-huh.
There is no slot in their registers for these bills. That's why I do it.
I don't doubt you. Yeah,
I do. I've been doing it ever since I was $2 bills. I got hooked on them way back when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
And within precious dates back in the day when I was dating. All right, it really did because the little girls were cockeyed back in the day. Okay. They were really gullible because the girls were training grounds for the guys that lie a lot.
All right.
Think about it. The women were susceptible to every guy's lie. Remember, my other car is a Porsche. Well, on the back of my Porsche, I got my other car is a Suzuki.
Okay.
That's what I got, bona fide. And I'm getting ready to go buy a tracker. It's the same thing you got. A tracker.
I like the little thing, man.
Yeah, they've got a 2001 and 2002, and I'm trying to make a deal on both of them. One's a two-wheel drive and the other's a little 4x.
You want the 4-wheel drive. You do.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we had this conversation because, yeah, there's a 2-wheel and a 4-wheel. So
yeah, I like it. It's great off road. It really is. And it's fun to do.
Yuma is a great place to be able to go in the dunes and sand and stuff.
Sure, it is. Sure.
Yeah. But anyway, we are in a war, and people better acknowledge it. Forget about what the government can do for you. Do the Robert Frost thing, because JFK did not write that speech. Do what you don't ask what you can do for your country, but or what your country can do for you, but what can you do? Robert Frost wrote all that crap. You knew that, right?
I did not, but I know JFK read it and he did it well. And it was a great message from Democrats at the time. And I wish we had that still with our Democrats.
Well, no, forget that. The Democrats have been taken over by the Communist Party modeled after the CCP in China. Now, forget that. They know what they're doing. They're not dummies, and quit waiting on them to change their mind. They're not going to do it. They're at the height. Trump has nailed them to the cross. Is what he did. I don't mean that to be a pun on Christmas Day, but he's nailing them. And Trump is resetting the world economic system, getting the monarchies totally out of our business. Remember, it was the Brits that burned the Capitol down just 100 years ago. Or it's a couple hundred now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Brits have always been we're the colonies that got away. You go to Britain, Piccadilly Square, and walk around and stop at a restaurant, and they recognize you'd be an American because I've been there and done this. They go, oh, you come from the colonies that got away. They're still standing. They're still teaching this in their schools.
Yeah.
And Charlie Boy 3 owns the largest real estate in Canada. And I know you got Canadians here. They'll call you if I'm wrong. But Charlie Boy 3, the Royals, own 89% of the Canadian real estate. Can you imagine that?
No. I mean, it just sounds unreal, but I've looked at it before, but yeah.
Well, Trudeau, the first Trudeau and the Royals, Queen Elizabeth, they're all in on when they nationalized. Exxon kicked them all out of Canada. Remember that back in the 70s, I believe it happened?
Sure.
Well, that's what happened. And it followed LBJ's 1965 shutting down the Oil Depletion Act. And what is the fuel right now, Trump's having a problem with getting our fuel back in the game, is Jimmy Carter's reorganization of the energy. Now, before Jimmy Carter put his pen to the freaking crap of getting it in one source, see, that one Department of Energy, what it did, it nationalized, encouraged corporatism, and John D. Rockefeller. And what it did, it put over 1,000 small oil companies out of business and allowed the corporatism to take them over. So we're down to like 5 majors. And that's why, and by the way, in LA, wait till Arizona gets this done. They're shutting down the 2 major suppliers that supplies Arizona with fuel, and it's going to happen in the next month or so.
Oh, it created long lines. It created shortages. It did a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yes, it does. So I advise you, if people in Arizona, since you voted for Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs, by the way, is going nuts because Shell is closing all the Shell stations in Arizona. You knew that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
On top of the fuel not coming from California. Oh, Citgo. You guys were talking about the other day. Citgo is a company owned by Venezuela.
Yep. It's a holding.
Y'all never said that. Y'all didn't say that.
No, I didn't. You've said that before, and I looked at it, and it is it's owned by a holding company from Venezuela. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the internet does. They go around the mountain, trying to confuse you who owns it.
Yeah.
You know, like city services is involved. Remember that little line? And it used to be these guys and the city services. They just try to muddy the water. That's what Democrats do now, Russ. We got to be careful of that. But Citgo is owned wholly by Venezuela, and that little maggot that they got running Venezuela, Trump is handling in the right way. He's a maggot, you know that, don't you?
Well, yeah.
They have Venezuela has an elected president. It's that woman. I can't pronounce her name because I'm not good with Spanish. But she was a duly elected president, and he wouldn't allow her to take the office, and she's hiding out, you know, trying to save her own life. And they got her out. Remember, they got her out of Venezuela to do something with her daughter.
No, I don't remember that. No.
Yeah. So they got when Maduro falls, they got already an elected president to take over. So it's not like they're changing heads of state. That's not what this is about. Russ, Trump is just assisting their election process, like Jimmy Carter. Remember Jimmy Carter running all over the world, helping people with their elections.
Yep.
And they kept him up like he was a god. Well, Trump is doing the same thing, except he's using the Navy. All right. If that doesn't work, he's prepared to go ashore. Trump is, and install their duly elected president. Look it up, folks.
Yeah.
Because Rusty, like I told you, and your son, have you talked to him today?
Just through text, yes.
Okay, don't forget. It's a lonely thing when you're on those bases and nobody calls you on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Merry Christmas to y'all, and if I don't hear from you until the 1st, well, Happy New Year, guys.
Thank you, sir. Same to you. Good hearing from you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And, of course, that was OG calling in, which is good to hear from him on Christmas. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. California is going to cut back on costly immigration health care. Now, California has been one of the leaders in throwing money at illegal immigrants. Sanctuary state and, offering more to the illegals than they do to American citizens. Let's take a phone call first. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
Well, good morning, sir.
I'm surprised the OG didn't comment more on this digital currency thing.
Okay.
Very dangerous, and I'm surprised Trump is actually pushing it. But what does digital currency, the Affordable Care Act, have in common?
I don't know. I didn't know they did.
Digital currency is about giving up our purchasing power. The Affordable Care Act with the Democrats did something indirectly, and it made our medical records no longer private. The government can go in and say, you know what? You're not eating the right way. You're not living the right way. So we could hold off medical care to you. That's like the next step of Obamacare.
Oh, I was saying it's not currently like that. I don't know if that ever happened.
No, it's not. But that is where that is going. If it was to continue, digital currency is the same thing. You're giving your purchasing power and information to the government,
right?
And they're going to say, "Hey, how come you bought 10 packets of Wrigley Spearmint gum when you only needed one?" No, that don't laugh.
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's
that's what digital currency is, and you using your credit card isn't digital currency. You're using the sovereign currency of this country, the U.S. dollar that they're trying to kill.
Yeah.
And you're being more expedient with it. You can't shop on Amazon with cash. So you use that type of currency.
And you don't consider that digital currency?
Not in the same genre of what they're trying to do.
Okay.
Once digital currency comes into effect, the bank can turn your money off. That's what has been proven in China.
Well,
they turn your money off. They say you spend too much money at the end of the month.
Well,
they also can say that we don't like the way you're spending your money. They can also say, "Oh, you're a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to spend any money." That wasn't a joke when Reagan got shot, and he made the joke about the doctor, was he a Democrat or Republican? That is going to come true if the Democrats prevail. Because how do you know if the Democrat medical system? We're not going to help this guy. He's a Republican. He's a Republican vote. We can use this body to sell eyes and organs. That's where this is going.
I don't doubt that. I mean, we saw during one of the disaster, I think in Florida, where FEMA was not helping anybody that had a Trump sign in their front yard. So that can happen. Yeah,
And
it's
so
kind of
I
scary.
don't know why Trump is pushing this digital currency, but that's the ultimate, that plays into the Democrats' hands. That's giving the government access to your purchasing decisions and your purchasing power.
You know, I just looked up digital currency. I asked if a credit card is digital currency, and he says no. And that's, I'm looking at AI. That it isn't digital currency itself. It's a way to spend digital money that's backed by the dollar.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, one
So
of
it's
the
more
things
Bitcoin and
that Trump was pushing as to why, and Bassett was pushing as to why digital currency is going to. It is actually the way of the future, but it is used at a higher level. It should never go down to the local and to the individual level when you're pushing money around on an international level. But that, unfortunately, is going to can affect the individual if the wrong people are in power.
Yeah.
So I think people need to understand how demonic is digital currency if it is not controlled, because you gave up your medical records with Obamacare. Your medical records aren't secret anymore.
See, and I've never heard anything like that. Because the government's very picky about making sure records are private, but anything can be hacked or whatever. But, I didn't know they would give them up. I mean, you can't look it up, can you?
We have had incidences when people knew somebody's medical background. That happens a lot in politics. Where does that come from?
Don't know. I mean, it could have happened all along on paper, even, break into a doctor's office and pull a paper. But I would hope digital gets more secure, but I don't know.
These are things that we say, okay, this works with a Republican leadership, but don't forget what's going to happen when there's a Democrat leadership.
Yeah, but
these are the things that I hope Trump is taking in consideration.
The digital access in our hospital is password. Anybody access it, they get flagged. But I guess somebody could go pay a doctor that's that is somebody's doctor and get a copy of it for you. But that doesn't mean they hacked a hospital and got into it.
Well, anyway, that's my comment on digital currency. We need to keep our currency sovereign. That's what makes a country, is that currency. And I think people have lost track over over what that dollar means. And
the Bitcoins and stuff like that are becoming a lot more prolific. I mean, a lot of traders, a lot more to pick from. I mean, Bitcoin type products, there's hundreds of them now.
Bitcoin, there's another thing. They're pushing that, and that ultimately will destroy a free market.
You think so?
There's nothing good about Bitcoin, I don't think. And it's the same thing like gold. I mean, what is the value of gold? People forget that Roosevelt made gold illegal to own.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden, it was illegal for you to own gold. What's to prevent that from happening? Gold is what, $4,000 an ounce?
$4,500.
What's to prevent it from going back down to $59 an ounce?
Yeah.
And so, where is that in the value of people say, well, I've got gold as a hedge. Well, it's a pretty ignorant hedge. There are other places to put your money, but right now, gold is the thing that is the scapegoat for the way that deficit currencies is going. You know, one of the things, again, here we have another example of Democrat atrocity causing people to do your own research. And again, this is where I disagree with the comment OG just said and with Victor Hansen. I think we're smarter than what people think. Our side is, not their side. When they talk about the idiocy of society, they're talking about that 20% of Democrats, that sample media. But our side, we are smart enough, and I always pound with you to control the narrative. I'll tell you what, it is time to start using that word, civil war. It is time to start using that word, war. Because when we start using it, they're cowards. The fact that we don't use it empowers them. So we should start using those terms. Because anybody who doesn't think that that the Democrat Party hasn't declared war on America, you've got your head under the soil. Because look at what they've done. Look at how they have graduated from Clinton until Biden. That's all to tear down this country. And the reason why the Democrats are able to prevail is because the Republicans hide under two statements that are Saul Alinsky statements. We don't talk about religion and we don't talk about politics. And the Democrats love when we don't talk about religion and we don't talk about politics.
I agree with that.
Because when we start talking about religion and we start talking about politics, that's when they get excited.
Yeah.
We need to start talking religion. We need to start talking politics. And if you're a Christian and you believe in your Christianity, we need to start talking it. And we need to start reading ourselves up on history and politics and civics and economics. I mean, the best example is that word tariff. The most misunderstood word, but it is the single most thing that has made this country is tariffs. Everything that you use in this country was made because of tariffs, not because of taxes.
Well, tariff by some is considered a tax, but I don't understand. I mean, we're not that heavily of a tariff user in the past. I mean, Trump has brought it back up.
What I meant to continue to say is when all of a sudden we start looking under the rock of tariffs, when we start looking under the rock of deficit spending and where we are in deficits, we find out there's 190 some countries, and each of those countries are also running a deficit. And that meant that the world economy was run as a deficit. The problem is that was business as usual, and that's what the people who were business as usual were all excited about. Trump changed that. Trump called it out.
Yeah, well,
and now now these countries are no longer deficit spending. We're trying to get out of deficits, and each country should be their own sovereign, and and let competition take its course. You know, deficit spending. Did you realize that all the countries were working under a deficit themselves?
No, but it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Hey, I'm running out of time, my friend. I got to go. The station's going to kick me off here shortly.
Have a good Christmas, sir.
You too. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. And with that, I'll be back tomorrow, AM 560, KBLU.